All right, everybody. We are going to go ahead and get started. Um, Hopefully you were able to grab some breakfast back there. Hey, real quick, who of you all, it's your first time? You weren't here at the first one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. For those of you, there was a little printout of session 1 on the back. So that's session 1. If for some reason you want to print out, I only printed out, I think, like 15 just to kind of, it's a lot of paper. So if you want to grab that, I am going to go through session 1 like at blazing speed. I was wanting to start at 9, but I really wanted to give time for people to get here. So we're starting a little late. So just be patient with me. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and get started with that. All right, I'm going to pray. Thank you, Father. Well, Father, I thank you that you've designed us, you've made us, God, and you've designed us to be healthy and well and whole, God. And we just invite your Holy Spirit to just speak to us, to minister to us, to help us where we're at, and to lead us to where you want us to be. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. So, briefly, again, my name's Cornell. Why am I doing this? Well, I just really have a passion for nutrition and health, and I just really believe that God has intended us to be healthy and not sick. I mean, that's really as simple as it is. And, with my mom passing away in 2017, what I believe early, she was only in her mid-60s, it kind of put me on a health journey for her and also just for me. And what I found out really quickly is, one, she was being prescribed medications for her medications. And diet was never something that the doctor talked to her about. It was always another medication. And it really put me on this thing that said, we can't live off medication. Medication does not supply any caloric, anything to our bodies, right? It has a place. But anyways, that's kind of the whole thing years ago that really started this. So with that being said, we're going to jump in. All right, so let me make sure I can get all this to work. Let me see, presentation. Oh, Christian's here. Christian, can you please help me? I was going to say, where's Grant when you need him? He had it set up so that there we go. Okay. And lower third. Sweet. Okay. So, all right. So, there's a little QR code on that paper. That's for the upcoming session. If you want to follow along with everything from the first session, either scan this QR code or scan the code on the printout of the first session. Okay, I hope that's not confusing. It is a Google Doc that has more information than any of you would want. Okay, so that's for session 1. You can just deep dive to your heart's content, okay? So I'm going to run through this extremely quickly. So step 1 was walk more. It seems like super simple, but the reality is people hundreds of years ago walked significantly more than we walk today. And it is the easiest way to actually keep your body active. There's a research. This is like a culmination of a bunch of research as it relates to walking, okay? The short end of the story is, depending on age, there's this kind of where it touches 1, right? Anything below, I think it's around, 3,000 steps for somebody greater than 60, and it needs to be around 6,000. That's just to break even. But as you increase your steps, then the risk of, this is technically all-cause mortality, which is dying from any type of sickness, or any type of severe injury goes down drastically as you just increase steps. That's basically all this graph is saying. So it's one of the easiest things that we can do to really, if you're like, I don't know what to do, I would just encourage you, just start walking more, track it. I mean, all of us have smartphones. You can just pull up the health app or whatever the Google Health app is and just see what your steps are. Set a goal to just increase it by 1,000, right? When you get that, maybe increase it again, okay? The next step, drink some filtered water. Like, just increase the amount of filtered water that you drink. Why do I say filtered water? Well, if you're on city water, God knows what is in your water. It just is what it is. I mean, I remember the first time, like, I had this epiphany that what comes out of the sewer goes into the processing plant and then comes back into my house, right? It was like, whoa, like it's like mind-blowing, right? Well, in order for that process to happen, there's a lot of chemicals that go into that, okay? So then you're like, okay, what do I do? Well, the easiest way to do it is just an activated carbon filter will filter out a lot of stuff, right? And don't be that person who, like, the filter is like red for like a year, right? Like on the refrigerator or whatever, you know. Even just a cheap Brita filter, I mean, it will help a lot with getting things out of your water, okay? So let me skip through all of this. Again, this is all in there. Plastic, yeah, we live in an age of plastic. You know, one of the reasons why even back there we have glass, where glass isn't necessarily needed, is just to kind of say, hey, let's be mindful of our exposure to plastic, especially, really, I would say, if heat is touching plastic, then plastic is leaching into your stuff. So if it's cold, the amount of leaching is negligible, right? And our bodies can deal with that level. But if you're constantly pouring something into something that is hot, it's going to leach. And research shows that it leaches up to around 50 times as much if it's hot. Okay, so I'm just trying to make sure I'm following along with, okay, so we're going to talk about this briefly. So in the first session, I remember telling everybody that when I grew up, I cooked on this as a teenager with this. So this is plastic, and this is Teflon, which is plastic, right? So I grew up heating my stuff, and then I would find little black specks in my food, and I thought it was pepper, but it was actually plastic, right? So Teflon in and of itself is referred to as a forever chemical. It has a host of, there's zero benefit to our bodies. So I would just encourage you, cook on something that is like certified ceramic or good old fashioned, beat somebody upside the head with cast iron, okay? Oh wow. Why does these, oh, you separated them for me. Thank you, Cam. They're supposed to all be one, but it's fine.
There was too many.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks. I'll get to it in a second. So yeah, here's all the ways that we can breathe in plastic and all this other stuff. But again, just trying to get through it. Know your food. That's one of the things we'll go into a little bit more today, so we're not going to necessarily go into this. Fasting. Everyone's favorite word, right? Fast, right? But for me, one of the things that I found that helped me best, and actually I've gotten away from it over the past, and this is more like health fast, is actually just delayed eating, or you could call it intermittent fasting, which is just break fast or breakfast, just doing that around lunchtime instead of having coffee with sugar and all this other stuff at 6, and then like some little snack or something at 9, and then eating lunch at 12. Well, all of the benefits that my body or our bodies would be going through for those additional 6 hours, we just threw out for a little bit of sugar, some cream, and, I don't know, a muffin or something, right? So again, if you're interested more, that has more information on fasting. But it's something that God gave to us as a gift in the natural and spiritually. And I think we've so spiritualized it that it's kind of taking modern science to actually tell us how beneficial fasting actually is for our bodies. It's actually one of the ways our body repairs itself. And God, I think, like knew that we probably wouldn't stop, so he actually makes us sleep. He makes us lie down, right? And in that, our brain is repairing, like our stomachs, all these things are repairing itself. And to the degree that we delay that, we delay what God has intended as benefit for our bodies, okay? Where we at? Reduce added sugar intake. Yeah, so I linked some research in there that just actually equates sugar as more addictive than, I think it was cocaine. So, yeah, it's a very addictive substance, and that's a reason why it's in everything. So we'll get into a little more on the health detriments of it in this section. Eliminating artificial sweeteners, kind of set aside artificial, and I think sometimes we don't realize that when we call it artificial, it means it never existed before. Like our ancestors didn't walk out and pick it up and eat it. Like we had to make it, right? So it would be no different than me. So this is plastic. If I shredded this up into fine powder and made it white so that it didn't look disgusting, but it was extremely sweet, like so sweet that you could just sprinkle a little bit and it made whatever you wanted sweet. And it had no calories. Would we use it? Yes, we would. We'd use it. And that essentially is what these are. Everybody knows just by the color what these are, right? They're all artificial. So, yeah, limiting them, and I'm not going to go into all the health detriments of artificial sweeteners. You can look that up in the doc. And then avoiding, right? I'm not asking us to eliminate it, but avoid ultra-processed seed oils. And this is kind of another topic that we're going to kind of do a little bit of a deep dive in today. Give me 1 second. Let me scroll over. Okay, so of the first 6, because we're about to do a little more of a deep dive into 7, any questions for those who were here the first time, or thoughts or comments or anything? I actually blew through that a little faster than I thought I would, but I'm trying to make up for some lost time here. Any thoughts? Any questions? Nada? Yes. The big pamphlet? No. I only printed out 15, but if you scan it, then you can pull it up on your phone. I'm sorry? Oh, I'm sorry. No, the pamphlet won't. Give me a second.
Well, nothing. Like I scanned this and I went to part 1, and it gave me this.
Is it not? Is not working?
It said 403. That's the error.
Can somebody scan that to make sure it works? Does it work? What links do I have on there? Just real quick. I have a link to the Google Doc and I have a link to the slides. Right? Does that slide link work, or do I need to give permission? I thought I clicked on it. Does the Canva slide link works? Link to Canva slides?
You don't have permission. We don't have permission for Canva.
Okay, give me 1 second. I just want to make sure. Share. Anyone with link. Okay, I just changed the permissions. Can y'all re-click on it to make sure? Maybe I'll
Canva's working out.
Okay. Is it working now?
The Canva one is working.
Okay, so Canva's working now. Okay, sweet. Sorry about that. When everything is shared now, you have to make sure you're sharing with the right people. So that is with everyone. Okay. So last time, again, we talked about ultra-processed seed oils. I'm going to do a little more deep dive on that. I love how they put on here that it's heart healthy, and we're going to talk about that a little bit, right? I'm actually going to give us an opportunity, if you all would so desire, that we're going to get to taste the oils that are in all of our ultra-processed foods. Right? Who wants to do that? Everybody, right? Yeah. Whoever vomits first wins. Okay. And then these are ancient fats, right? These are the fats that we're supposed to be scared of, right? Butter, tallow, which is rendered beef fat, extra virgin olive oil. I wouldn't say people would say you have to be afraid of that one, but the fat especially, butter especially has a bad name. Ghee, yeah, clarified butter, yeah, it's especially better for those who have any type of lactose intolerance. And yeah, we'll talk about that as well. So let me see, I'm just trying to finish up the first one. Yeah, so I already asked questions, sorry. Okay, so now we're gonna get to kind of deep dive a little bit into fats, because last time I started with fats, but it was lunchtime, we didn't have enough time to. So I want to just briefly talk about why, when we talk about ultra-processed seed oils like these, which are in amazing bottles and they look so nice and they're clear, clean, smell good. Well, they don't really have a smell, actually. I wouldn't say they smell good. They just. So the reason why, if I showed, well, I showed it up here. I think it's by Wesson or whoever, not Wesson, somebody. It says like heart healthy. Some say high in omega-3s, ALA. It says all of these things on there. So even when you go to buy like some margarine, Smart Balance or something like that, it'll say high in omega-3s, plant-based, plant-powered, all of this stuff. And in a perfect world, there would be some truth to that. But here's the issue with ultra-processed seed oils. So if we look at vegetable oil, which is not made of vegetables, vegetable oil is made of, what is vegetable oil made of? It is. What?
Canola.
No, that's canola. What what is vegetable oil made of?
Seeds.
Yes, but from what? No, soy. Vegetable oil is soybean oil. That's what this is. Canola oil is made from rapeseed or rapeseed, however you want to pronounce it, right? And the funny thing about canola is canola really stands for Canada Oil Low Acid. So really this oil is kind of a byproduct of World War II, where they took rapeseed and you need low, I believe it's uric acid. I might be pronouncing it incorrectly, but it needs to be for human health under 2%. So they did a similar thing with cottonseed oil. I can't remember the compound in cotton, but it's toxic. So they had to breed cottonseed to reduce that so that they can then market it to people, right? So again, just realizing the reason this stuff exists is because it's dirt cheap to manufacture, and then a lot of the things are just byproducts of capitalism, right? I mean, it makes sense. It's like, well, we got to do something with it. What are we going to do with it? It's like, well, we got all these fields. We were making all this oil for war. War's over. It's not edible yet, but if we get this value down low enough, then it is, right? So if you watch a video on even how canola oil is made or manufactured, it goes through a lot of processes to turn it from basically like green sludge into this, right? And that requires them to heat it a lot of times, right? They have bleaching processes, they have deodorizing processes. And so you're like, okay, well, why does that matter? Well, this in particular, well, really both of these, but this one in particular is really high in omega-3s, right? Omega-3 is a fatty acid. Omega-3 and 6 are technically considered essential fatty acids, meaning our body cannot make them. We need to consume them, okay? We'll talk about that in a second. But heating the oil repeatedly and for high amounts of time breaks down the omega-3s to the point where they become damaging to our bodies. Does that make sense? Through a process called oxidation, so that's why that's up there. So a similar process as oxygen hitting an apple, oxygen hitting a bolt, that's made of non-stainless steel. It starts to rust over time. Well, we're doing that to this, so it's oxidized before you ever use it, right? It has toxic compounds in it, referred to as aldehydes, in this oil before you ever consume it, right? That's why it's bad, right? Now, if you could take the plant, squeeze out the cold press, the seed, one, it wouldn't look or taste like this, and I would say, sure, it's better for you, right? And probably some of the health claims are actually decent. So here I have some flaxseed oil, right, which is high in omega-3s, okay? Probably one of the highest sources of omega-3. You can't cook with this. If you cook with this, it just instantly breaks down. This is like a tasting oil or something that you need to keep refrigerated, and you can just pour it on some salad or something like that. This is not to be cooked with. Well, what they've done is they're saying, oh, well, this is high in omega-3 too, just like this, but this has been processed a bunch. The omega-3s are damaged, and then we'll show you in a little bit, an oil that's already been damaged is now being used to be the carrier oil that we fry something in over and over and over and over and over again, right? So there's no test at McDonald's or even Chick-fil-A, I still eat at Chick-fil-A, right, for how toxic is this oil. It's just, are the fries brown? Right? So if you're eating some brown fries, that oil was gone a long time ago. Probably the most toxic substance you probably could have consumed, to be honest with you. Because it's broken down so much that it can't even fry the fries well, right? So again, let's look at just a couple charts to just kind of put some of this in perspective, okay? So what we're looking at is we're looking at various oils, and we're looking at the level of frying cycles before they're pretty much fully spent, okay? So this is just giving you an idea. Flaxseed oil probably should never be used to cook with, right? Whereas beef tallow or even coconut oil or extra virgin olive oil give you the highest return, so to speak, without breaking down, right? And we're going to look at some other charts like this as well. Does this make sense? And then that little squiggly line is how many aldehydes, which are toxic byproducts of oxidation or oil rust, if you want to think of it that way. That way is worse, and towards zero is better, okay? So looking at this, you can see extra virgin olive oil, coconut oil, beef tallow are going to be the oils that you would want to use. Forgive me, this does not have butter on there, but butter would also be or ghee would be in a similar ballpark as those. Any questions about this? Is this confusing? Yes.
What about avocado oil?
Yes, so avocado oil is also another fruit oil, right? So that one also is good, and I do wish it had that on here. Yes? What about grapeseed oil? I would have to look. In the next session, we're going to do some ChatGPT stuff, so I would encourage you, ask it that question when we get to that session, and just see where it compares with some of these other oils. Good question.
Canola oil was made from grapeseed oil?
No, it's RAPE. I don't know if it's rape or rap.
Oh, okay.
Good? Okay. Okay, so I think this is just another chart showing the same thing as what we just looked at. So aldehyde, basically bad stuff. being formed in it. It's lowest for butter, beef tallow, extra virgin olive oil, coconut oil, right? So those are just the ones that I would encourage you to use. Yes.
So like I was looking at even a lot of more healthier granola bar type things or
Uh-huh.
whatever, and they always have like different oils in there.
Mhm.
And so I'm always trying to find like, does the oil at this point just make it a bad option?
That's a great question.
Or is some okay? Like just trying to figure out like, do I just disqualify certain things because of certain oils?
Yeah, so statistically, anywhere from a fourth to a third of our calorie intake as Americans comes from just ultra-processed seed oil. So, and these are the most popular. So, on average, for us sitting in this room, we could say a fourth to a third of our calories is this. And we're going to kind of, in the next session, we're going to kind of actually deep dive into a little bit of using apps to try and figure out what's in the food, asking ChatGPT, for example, like, hey, how much of this is in here? How much of the caloric load in this thing is just ultra-processed seed oil? And I would say, so like for me, in my house, I try to eliminate it completely. So that, because I don't eat 100% of the time in my house. And I know that when I go out of my house, this is what I'm going to eat, even if it has a Chick-fil-A stamp on it. Does that make sense? It's essentially this. I know, I've researched it enough. Like, this, Chick-fil-A buns are basically no different than this. It's no different than Wonder Bread. It's no different than the Great Value cheap white bread that's $1. I mean, they're all the same. As far as like what they're made out of. Sure, one might taste a little better, might be a little softer, but as far as our bodies are concerned, same stuff. So that's what I do. I try to eliminate it at home so that when I go out into the world, I'm going to eat some fries. And I know the fries have been fried in this. So I let that be I don't want to call it a cheat because I really don't want it, right? I let it be more of I'm at this place, I know this has seed oil in it, either I don't eat it all or I eat. But I let that be less. And I try to limit even those places. So, any other questions based off of Lori's question? Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm. Granola, you're talking about granola in general? Yeah. Yeah, so that's my recipe back there for the granola. Stephen actually helped me make it, so thank you, Stephen. And I would say for certain things, it may be beneficial to make your own. Like that granola takes less than an hour, and it made like a bag like this big, and you can control what oil is in it and what oil is not in it, what sugars you use and what sugars you don't use. So I'll give you an example. That has grass-fed butter, extra virgin olive oil as the oils. It doesn't have any of this, not one drop. And as far as sugar is concerned, it has honey, and then it has a little bit of organic brown sugar, and then it has, the rest of it is monk fruit and allulose blend. So it still tastes sweet without having this crazy sugar spike, right? And I know what's in it. So we're not going to be able to do that for everything, right? So some of it's kind of, you just got to pick, hey, let's make this, and this is just the one thing we kind of make. And then we find some other healthier options over here, right? But that's just kind of what I'm trying to do. Yes, so I'm gonna give everybody the recipe to the bread, muffins, and the granola, so that you can make your own if you want. Yes.
So just kind of to go back to Laura's question, or actually two things. First off, can you speak to the difference between extra virgin olive oil and olive oil that you mentioned the other day?
Yeah.
And then just kind of bounce back to her question where she was asking
were you asking oils or the seed oils, Lori?
I was just talking about the oil, because I was at Target the other day.
Uh-huh.
And like, I'm not really eating any processed food as much as I can help it. But I was like, I'm trying to get more protein. And so I'm like looking at these protein bars, and they all have these different kinds of oils in them. Like they'll say all the good stuff, like the whole peanuts and different things, but then it'll have oils, and I'm like, is this sunflower oil okay? Like, is this
Yeah.
oils okay? And I'm just trying to
So another thing,
okay in there, because I mean, you have all these bars out there, and I know a lot of people think, oh, these look like they're healthy, but they're not really. And so
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out what is healthy out of all these bars,
yeah, so,
Which one should I pick?
yeah. So let me just make this comment first, okay? So if this is kind of the beginning of some of your health journey, then you may look at it and be like, whoa, like, what can I eat? And that's a really great question, okay? And we're going to get to some charts that show you why that is a great question, okay? The reality is, and I said this in the first one, like, you just have to understand we live in a for-profit society. It's not a for-health society, okay? We didn't become one of the largest and richest nations in the world because everyone at the top was concerned about our health, okay? It's just how it is, The entire Midwest is dedicated to GMO agriculture, right? Genetically modified organisms that are agriculture. And that's the backbone of our food supply. I mean, it just is what it is. So when you say, okay, that just is what it is, then it's like, okay, with that in mind, when you find something that is good, then like that's what I get. So like I make my own granola, but for those, if you're interested, Purely Elizabeth makes decent stuff, and she uses coconut oil. And I don't know if was coconut oil one of those up there? Yeah. So coconut oil is one of the better oils to cook stuff in, okay? So if you're looking for like some granola or something like that, I mean, this is up here. You can try it just to see if you like it. I personally think making it you get so much more. I mean, this bag is probably like $6, and if I counted up the cost of that, it might have been $20 for an entire gallon-sized bag full of stuff, But yeah, like I said, I can go down the bread aisle, and whether it's the cheap bread or the expensive bread, it's essentially all going to be this. With the exception of like Dave's Killer Bread at Walmart, or there might be like one other, but 98%, yeah, well, Ezekiel bread, you got to go to the frozen aisle to get it, right? So that tells you something, right? It's like, why does this have to be in the freezer, right? It's like, shouldn't bread just stay out forever, It's like, no, it shouldn't, right? So yeah. So this is just kind of ChatGPT made these charts for me. Again, you can ask it to make stuff. It doesn't do the best with infographics and stuff. It took me a while and it kind of looks like, something you'd show in like children's church, but it's not very good, but it made it, right? So, I'm sorry, I didn't go over. So this is just kind of giving you a breakdown of what I'm saying. And it's still kind of techie just because we don't think about this stuff. It's just like, hey, we just eat it. We just trust whoever makes it. And we look at the nutrition and it's like, this is high in calories, this is high in fat, or this is low in fat, this is high in protein. And I would encourage all of us, like, let's take a step back from macros and like realize our body actually lives off of micronutrients, right? And those micronutrients kind of come together, right? And sure, we need the macros, but when we look at the food pyramid, all we tend to think of is calories, fat, protein, carbs, and we can have something that meets the macros, but is completely devoid of nutrition. And so disease and sickness is actually a result of that, even though our macros look good, right? So that's, when I talk about nutrition or health by design, we're really referring to all of these things. And to be honest with you, you could spend the rest of this year just looking at what all these different micronutrients and polyphenols and antioxidants and all these other things that God intended to benefit our body. Another reason why this is infinitely superior to something like this is this isn't cooked. Like, this is cold pressed extra virgin olive oil. This is technically fruit juice, but it's just oil, right? This is not made from the seed, it's made from the fruit of the olive, right? And this is made from the seed, and it's been processed. It doesn't even have a smell barely, right? And the natural antioxidants in this actually help to control cell oxidation inside of our bodies, right? There's so many benefits to drinking this, and we'll talk about that a little more. But yes, ma'am.
This don't have like a lot of stuff. What about stuff like that? The hydrate that you drink?
When we go to the next session, like, we can scan that and just see what's in it, right? And do you? Yeah. Yeah. So we'll scan it and we'll see what's in it. I've never seen that brand before. But yeah, I treat all stuff as guilty until proven innocent, because it's not a for nutrition culture, or it's a for profit. So they're guilty. Everybody's guilty, right? It's like almost like a politician. You're guilty until you prove yourself. You can tell me all you want. Does absolutely nothing for me. Until I see the goods, then I do something, right?
Question about
Yes.
olive oil.
Yes. Yes.
When we cook eggs,
Uh-huh.
we have the olive oil in a can.
Okay.
Just spray a little bit on the can,
Mhm.
on the pan, and then put the eggs in it.
Okay.
So it's a spray, is that bad?
Well, the spray in and of itself isn't bad. Probably the stuff in the can with the spray is probably not. A lot of times they put like I can't remember what it's called, anti-foaming agent and some other stuff in there, stabilizers, which you're like, well, why do you need a stabilizer? It's like,
So pour a little oil in.
it's the easiest way. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just pour just a little tiny bit in there. I mean, it's, and I mean, if you have a really high quality pan, you don't even really need that much oil, to be honest with you. Very little at all. Yeah.
Can you explain the differences in quality of olive oil?
We'll do that in the next session.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I already talked about the history of seed oils, at least briefly. Does anybody have any questions? I mean, basically, they exist because they are extremely profitable. I mean, there's no getting around it, right? And some of them are a byproduct of cattle industry and stuff like that, or cotton industry. Some are a byproduct of World War II, and they've been bred and engineered to be less toxic in certain ways, but still extremely profitable, right? So yes, you first. I'm sorry.
What about like when an oil, like an olive oil is from all of these different places?
Mhm.
Shouldn't it be just from one place versus from California and then this place and then this place and then like just kind of mixed together?
Well, that's just how they make it cheaper. So yeah, I mean, I'd encourage you. Again, so this comes back to if you say, gosh, where do I want to go with this?
Because
Yes.
it's kind of hard to find it from one place,
Yeah. So this one is from Sam's. This is a 1 liter bottle, and I think it was $18. This is a 1.18 liter bottle from Publix, so it's more. And this was only $3. This is, I can't really find any health detriment to this, but we'll go about to look at all the health detriments of consuming this. So, is this more expensive? Absolutely, right? But then I would ask you, well, at what cost do we want this in us chronically. Again, if it's French fries once a month from Chick-fil-A or something, I'm being, just throwing that out there, then sure, whatever. But if we're chronically eating it every day, right, we'll do it now. We'll do it now. So this is Greenwise mayo. What do you think the first ingredient is? Which one? Soybean. So if you go to Chicken Salad Chick, and the chicken salad is made from mayonnaise, and the first ingredient in mayonnaise is soybean oil, then you're essentially having a vegetable oil sandwich. Again, it's just where we're at. It's just that's just where we're at, right? And now if you go in there and you say, hey, do you have any extra virgin olive oil mayo here? They'll be like, what? You know what I'm saying? And again, they don't even probably have organic mayo. It's probably like the cheapest big tub of mayo, you know what I'm saying? That's like, $50 for a ton of it, Same thing with this. What do you think the first ingredient in this is? Soybean oil. Our friend strikes again, right? What do you think the first ingredient in this is? Soybean oil, right? So it's just, right? I used to love Chick-fil-A sauce, right? But I also realized not only is it soybean oil, but there's 140 calories in one. Nobody consumes one Chick-fil-A sauce. And I'm talking about the little thing, right? So if you consume 3 of those, that's a Chick-fil-A sandwich, as far as calories is concerned. So when you think, well, how do we get to 1/3 of our calories is consumed by this? That's how it's that easy, right? You're like, oh yeah, might as well have another sauce. It's like, okay, well, there's 140 right there, right? So
essentially, even though
yes, ma'am. So here we go. Vidalia onion vinaigrette. That sounds really tasty. So what is the first ingredient? Soybean oil, right? So the reality is, if you took this and you took, where'd it go? Oh, here it is. If you took these two and then just found some spices that work, maybe some lemon juice. I think I have some. Some lime, maybe put like some garlic or something. You just shake, you have a dressing. And you know what's in it, and it's actually good for you. Versus, it tastes good, right? The only reason why we eat this is because it's cheap and it tastes good. Any other reasons that I'm missing? Right? Addictive, I guess, probably would be the other reason, right? So that was your question. Did I answer your question?
yes, so essentially, even though an olive oil may come from a few different places, it's essentially better than ours.
If it says extra virgin, I would encourage you, if you're going to try to go in that direction, don't buy olive oil. Because olive oil, basically, if it doesn't say extra virgin, right, it has they normally take kind of a lesser quality, maybe even potentially rancid oil, and then, these can be rancid, but you'd never know. If you cook it to 400 degrees or 500 degrees and you add some agents to it and all these other things, then it's like, eventually, modern day science can turn rancid oil into this, right? And you wouldn't know the difference, especially if we add some sugar to it and all this other stuff. So olive oil is basically, doesn't matter where it comes from, doesn't matter how much of it was rancid, it's been through some processing. And then they normally add just a little bit of extra virgin oil to it to kind of restore just a hint of smell or color or flavor or something like that. So yeah, extra virgin. Even if it's something cheap, again, that means that, but there's some extra virgin that doesn't come from one source. But that's just, more sources equal less money that they have to spend. So, are we good? Okay, so I'm trying to see where I'm at session-wise. You know what? Let's take a break. and we'll come back. All right, so take 5 minutes, and we'll be back. Cool? Sweet.
It's so overwhelming. Like when okay, so I was in Nigeria 2 years. My husband is very mindful about all of these things and research things and look things up. He's like, don't eat that, don't eat that. So I actually lost weight as well. Organic food, all of those things. Not doing those, like he was researching all of it. And then it's like I came back here, and I'm living with my mom for now, right? And then I'm like, well, when you know better, you do better, right? I'm trying to be more mindful of things, not using the microwave and all of those things, like using the stove to heat up my food. And then like my family was like, well, Jessica, you've been eating it all this time, you're fine. And it's just like, yeah, but when you know better, you do better. So it's like, and my husband is not here, so it's like I'm trying to do all of this on my own while in the midst of them eating all of this.
You just cram that down a little tighter.
They're all like, you know, 5, 6, 7. And so I showed this one kid how to do it. Start off standing, you go down, kick his legs out, do a push-up, and he's just doing more push-ups instead of getting back up and jump. And then after that one, I had 4 kids when they went up to get their food. The tiniest little girl in the entire class. I want to do what he did.
Pushing your whole life, you know?
Tiny, tiny. Anyway, it was just kind of funny.
What's up, Amir? It's fun to dart around in there. You know, he's never seen anything like that before, so it was cool to get it in there.
All my dealers will reach out to me on
I like to. I know, I met him in Austin. He gave me.
It just overnight, you know what I mean?
Were you asking about Olive Oil Singapore?
Yeah,
They have a place downtown, Art and Soul.
I love that place.
The owner is the farm
They
owner.
sell olive oil there?
Yeah, she has a farm in Georgia.
Are you serious?
Yeah, you should ask her about olive oil.
I sure will.
She makes it.
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really good.
We're going to taste
She's got really good olive oil. It is, but it's worth it.
So, I just have to make sure that what is mine and what is yours. But this is the trick. Actually, people can taste some of these if they want. like the better in Better Goods, but they're not always good.
Okay, so that must have been, I also would like something that
Oh, yeah, yeah,
I'm assuming they're,
What fails, it just fails that one.
that was the last one. Trying to get answers on that. Because I didn't know they were on the campus, so they don't know like where they eat.
You wouldn't know why.
This one, I was eating this morning. It's decently okay. I can make my own. Like smell that. That's what it is. Know that I love that. It tastes like cinnamon, but is it?
Okay, we're going to go ahead and get back.
It's not my favorite.
Running a little behind. Okay, so we're going to start off with this question. It seems very straightforward. So, what is bread? I know that sounds like a simple question to answer, right? But it's actually one of the questions that the Lord asked me that I didn't have an answer for last time. So, leading up to the first Health by Design, I shared this, right? I remember I lifted this up and I said, this is not bread. It's called bread. It's actually called good old-fashioned bread. But there's nothing good or old-fashioned about it, right? So I'm going to just briefly talk about it. I don't have it in the slides because it's boring, but it is in the Google Doc, which is boring. It's a bunch of information, right? Again, we'll talk about ChatGPT and Yuka and some other stuff in after this. So what you can do is, I'll show you how to do it. You can take the boring slide, copy and paste it into ChatGPT or Gemini or some other AI and say, hey, summarize this for me in language that I can understand. Talk to me like I'm a teenager or something like that. And it'll do it, right? And you take all this nutrition facts stuff and it just makes it simple for you, okay? So that's something we'll talk about in a little bit. So as I was preparing for the first session, the Lord was just kind of putting on my heart, like all of these verses about him being bread, right? Like, even as it related to manna, or like he actually is the bread from heaven, right? And I remember thinking, okay, God, why are you referring to yourself as bread when bread is unhealthy for us? Bread is full of calories and carbs and all this other stuff. Like, why are you saying that you're bread, right? So kind of went on a little deep dive. And Miss Amy King, who's not here today, she's not feeling well, she actually got me kind of on this whole nother, I don't even know the word for it, journey into bread. And what it helped me to see is when you kind of understand bread and what's happened to bread, you can kind of understand what we mean when we say ultra-processed foods, okay? So this is about as close to like bread as I can get of something that people probably consumed like 200 years ago, right? So the bread is, I'm going to walk behind here real quick. I don't have it plugged in. I'll just set it here so y'all can just kind of see it. The bread is milled. That's what it produces, flour. And in a second, when we have time, these are just the seeds, wheat berries, that you just put in it, and it literally is like, you pour it in there after you turn it on, shoots out flour, you turn it off, that's it. That's it, right? So the health benefits of doing that versus going and buying white flour from the store is kind of what I go into in detail. Really, ChatGPT helped me go into detail on the Google Doc, okay? So if we go to the late 1800s, there was a lot of machinery that allowed for the separation of wheat, germ, and the endosperm, which is the white part that's starchy, sweet, which is where white flour comes from. Well, when they started separating the outer casing, which is where the majority of the fiber is, the germ, which is where a lot of the nutrients and the vitamin E and all these other things are, a lot of the B vitamins, what they ended up with was just this white bread, which tasted great, was soft, was really easy to make. Everyone started eating that, and they just discarded the other aspects of the wheat germ, right? Well, that led to a lot of health issues where people were getting diseases, and all those diseases were vitamin deficiencies. Vitamin B1 deficiency, people were lacking folate, all these other things, and it was causing people to get sick. Now, the government started, and I'm breezing through this. Please, if you want the information, just follow along in the Google Doc. In, I believe it's the 40s, correct me if I'm wrong, somewhere around there, 40s or 50s, is when they started to enrich bread. Now, the thing is they strip out the vast majority of the vitamins, and then they only add back a select amount. So let's see which ones they add back. If I can see them. They add back, so this is unbleached, enriched flour, niacin, thiamine, riboflavin, folic acid. So that's all they add back. So what was that, 4?
Folic acid is in bread.
So folic acid technically is a synthetic compound.
Folate.
It doesn't exist naturally.
Yeah, that's why I changed my prenatal vitamins.
Yeah. So I'm going to talk about this in a later session. I went and got some testing done, and my body doesn't process folic acid as well as other people's body might. Let's go figure. It's not really what I'm supposed to consume anyways. So I actually started taking some methylated vitamins. Until I started consuming this, then I was taking too much B vitamins, so I pretty much was able to ditch the methylated B vitamins, and we'll talk about that in a second. But where was I at? So they enrich this, they only add a little bit back, and if you look at, let's see, this is enriched flour. So what they strip, they take white flour, then they add a few vitamins back, synthetic vitamins. So you think, okay, well, this at least has some vitamins in it. Like, that's got to be better than nothing. And yeah, like, to keep you from getting a disease that's related to, B1 deficiency or something like that. Yes, but what happens is the B vitamins, if we'll just use this for example, and which this is kind of based off a lot of this, they work synergistically. So if you're consuming 3 of these B vitamins, and then all the other ones just are non-existent in the food, it starts to throw off things on the inside of us, right? Again, this is just one piece of the puzzle as to why ultra-processed foods are bad for us, right? The other is they're normally higher in calories than what we'd be consuming, and they're also loaded with refined sugar, right? Which, one of the reasons why Welch's is over here and not over there is, one, this is ultra processed, it's pasteurized, it's from concentrate, it's got other stuff added to it. And for us to just drink this, there's no fiber in this, right? Like, if you were to normally drink some type of fruit juice, it would have other things in it because you freshly squeezed it or something like that. Even OJ that has pulp in it, The reason why, like eating a banana or a kiwi or an apple, if it had the same sugar content as, say, a few ounces of that, the way our bodies are actually designed, having the fiber in there and having the other things that are just part of the fruit, the way God made it, it's just, it doesn't spike our insulin as much. But drinking this really is almost no different than, that's actually a good one. How'd that get over here? Is no different than drinking the same amount of this, because our body just sees it as sugar, and it's just a sugar spike. So what I want us to, let me make sure that I'm here. Oh, I'm not here yet. I got to go through these slides. Give me a second. I want to go through these slides real quick, and then we're going to actually do some tasting. Give me a second. Okay, yeah. Okay, so what I want you to gather from these slides is not taking them as gospel, because any statistics can vary. When I ask it to generate some graphs, the first one it made me showed that Americans were consuming 3,750 calories on average a day, which I knew was wrong. So I said, is this overall calories or is this calorie intake, right? And it was just saying this is overall calories that are available to any given American divided by the population, right? So when we talk about ChatGPT and AI and things like that, you have to realize you have to take all of it with a grain of salt. So what this is showing, it's just showing when we look at 1900, right, before McDonald's and excessive amounts of soda and Doritos and Taco Bell and Chick-fil-A, and I mean just all of this, we see that diabetes was near zero. I think the stat was 0.5% of the population had diabetes. I want you to think about that. 0.5% of the population had diabetes in 1900. This is America. And the amount of ultra-processed food was probably around 2 or 3, and obesity, as far as what the USDA or the FDA claims that to be, was around 7. And again, I am not trying to fat shame anybody or anything like that. I'm just saying, 1900, if you hold up your hand like that, you're like, oh, that looks pretty good. If you go like that, you're like, whoa, it's like the stock market. You know what I'm saying? So what is happening is, as ultra-processed food has increased, calories have increased, sugar consumption has increased. And actually, before I get ahead of myself, let me just skip some of these slides. This is our calorie intake. I also put the globe on there versus America just to show. Now, obviously, this is also going to take into account third world countries and stuff like that. So probably a better metric would have been comparing it to, more affluent countries or something like that. But again, this just gives you a global picture versus America. And for those of you who want to kind of see it easier, But the reality is chart go up for everybody, okay? And the reason chart go up is because ultra-processed food go up, calorie go up, sugar go up. All of it, that's why it's going up, and all of our health is decreasing in proportion to it going up. Does that make sense? We can say, oh, well, we just don't exercise anymore. Well, sure. We don't have to walk from here to, what I'm saying, Moody Air Force Base, or ride a bike or something like that. We just get in our car. So yes, activity does play a part in it. I was thinking the walk to Emmaus in the Bible, and I was like, I think, if I remember correctly, I don't know how many miles it was to get from where they're going to the other, but they're just walking and talking, right? I'm like, I don't normally walk that many miles in a day, If somebody could look up how far was the journey that they were taking, right? And they just are taking it. They're talking, Jesus appears, they're talking some more. They're like, hey, stay with us, eat, But that was just part of their life, right? And in a lot of other countries that don't have the pleasure of owning a vehicle, they've got to walk, right? It's not optional, for them. Yeah. Yeah, I remember in Guatemala, I'd see like a little dude, he's got firewood on his back. I'm like, where are you going? He's like, way over there somewhere. I'm like, well, he's going to be strong. Then I saw I think it was an old lady carrying firewood. I'm like, I think she was like probably 65. I think I asked her age. I mean, you're supposed to do that for women, but I just was curious because she's carrying firewood on her back. She was in her 60s, carrying firewood up a mountain. So let's look at the rest. So this is in minors. So as you can see, minors are also, even though their metabolism tends to be, functioning a little better than when we're older, they're still affected by it. And as you can see, the dark red is childhood obesity. This is under 18. Under 18. And again, it's not because we're just terrible people or whatever. It's because this is so calorie dense. This is so nutrient deficient, and it's everywhere. And that's what this is. I was going to ask it, at current rates, can you project what this will look like over the next 20 to 30 years? And I don't want to know what that looks like in 20 to 30 years. If we don't change anything, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize chart go up. Right? I mean, I don't know if any of you have tried to do a little bit of trading or something like that, but you can kind of see patterns. But if anybody wanted to invest in something, I mean, to me, it seems like it's kind of obvious. Barring from World War II or the Great Depression, there's a little dip in there. And again, these are just some more charts that just show our calorie intake versus ultra-processed food availability. So from 1900, it seems as though we were consuming early 1900s, a little over 2,000. Current day, a little under 3,000. And you say, how is that possible? Well, I add 2 of those to my meal. There's almost 300. That I didn't even try, right? I had that really healthy salad. Again, I'm not trying to be funny, okay? I'm just saying, so there's another 110 calories in 2 tablespoons. Who measures 2 tablespoons of salad dressing?
It's not even enough.
No, it's not. Most of the time you ask for, can I have another pack of salad dressing to put on there, right? So you could probably easily consume 500 hidden calories in a salad. And there you go. 2 Chick-fil-A sauces and a salad puts you at where we're at. I mean, some salad dressing. Because this is just liquid calories. I mean, that's all it is. And it's hidden in everything. And this is intentionally tasteless and odorless so that they can use it as like a carrier oil almost, right? Just add whatever you want to it. It's not going to detract from the flavor because it doesn't really have any, right? Okay, this one I found interesting and sad at the same time, just kind of showing even how this is affected by ultra-processed food and seed oil. So this is Alzheimer's and dementia, which obviously is on the rise, and it pretty much tracks our calorie intake and ultra-processed food. And I put kind of some of this in there as well, so if you want to take a deep dive, Alzheimer's is being referred to currently, not everywhere, but in research communities as type 3 diabetes. And you say, well, why? Well, just the basic part is when our bodies are essentially on a roller coaster from, this is just a representation of sugar in a can, okay? So when our bodies are on a roller coaster from sugar, right, which I think in the previous one, I asked it to tell me how much sugar did somebody consume in like the early 1900s. And I think it would have taken them a week to consume this much added sugar. It's something like that. It's close. But we do this potentially multiple times a day, right? So our bodies are very resilient. They really are. I mean, they're very resilient. Blunt trauma, not so much, but, manageable doses of things chronically every day you can kind of handle, right? But what happens is our insulin spikes. It spikes. Well, you do that 100,000 times, our body starts to become insulin resistant. And that insulin resistance in the brain is actually what they're believing is one of the leading causes of Alzheimer's, okay? So again, it's helpful for us to realize this affects kind of every aspect of our body, okay? Any questions from these graphs? They're kind of confusing, potentially, apart from chart go up, okay?
You said that we become insulin.
So, is it insulin resistant? Yeah. Now, I'm not saying all of us are insulin resistant, but I would say probably most of us are a little more resistant to insulin. Insulin is a hormone. There's a lot. Hormones are basically things that signal do something in the body, right? So when aspects of our body become resistant to it, it requires more of the signal for that thing to happen, right? So high amounts of sugar chronically are going to cause chronic insulin spikes, which is going to lead to insulin resistance. And then there's this whole other field called metabolic syndrome, which is insulin resistance and larger amounts of adipose tissue, whether it's visceral or subcutaneous fat. All this stuff leads to health effects or health detriments in our body. So between the first one and scanning the code for the second one, you can kind of just go in there and search for words and stuff and kind of take a deep dive, okay? All right. Any questions? Yes.
So back to the bread.
Yes.
What about the Ezekiel bread that's frozen or the sprouted grain bread or whatever?
Yes. So sprouted grain bread is actually really good for you. None of you, well, not none. The overwhelming majority of you are not going to start making your own bread. I actually do not enjoy doing it, if I'm honest with you. It takes longer than I would like. The muffins are really easy, right? But yes, Ezekiel bread is probably one of the few breads I could recommend if you're going to be I don't want to call it a chronic consumer of bread, but like you're going to eat bread a lot, right? Ezekiel bread, to a lesser degree, Dave's Killer Bread or something like that. It at least tries to add additional seeds and stuff and tends to stay away from dough conditioners, just all of these synthetic things that are just made to either make the bread stay longer, last longer. Like this will mold in about a week and a half. This, to be honest with you, when I was a kid, I remember this bread used to mold more frequently. But as I've gotten older, I realized the bread doesn't mold like it used to. It just doesn't, right? So I'll tell a funny little story. She said I could tell it. Grace is not in here. She's back there. Okay, so these muffins, I gave her some muffins. Okay, this is a disgusting story, but I'll tell it now, then we can taste something good, okay? So I made these, and these really only should probably stay out for like 5 days before you refrigerate them, okay? Or you just need to keep them away from something. They have no preservatives in them, no preservatives, right? And the overwhelming majority of food of our ancestors had no preservatives in them, right? There's a reason why Ezekiel bread is in the refrigerator. If you just leave it out, it's going to start to mold. Bugs are going to find it, potentially eat it or whatever. So if you are grossed out, you can cover your ears right now. Otherwise, so I went to go reach for these, and they were in aluminum foil, and I peeled back the foil, and then I closed the foil back really quickly. So what had happened is some flies found them, and maggots were devouring the muffins, okay? But then it led me to a thought. I said, I've never seen maggots eat this. None of this. My entire life, not one time. And I've barely seen any of it mold. So just let that sit in just for a second. So if even maggots won't eat it, right? They won't eat it. And they eat dead stuff. They wouldn't eat it. And it barely ever molds. So just so y'all know, most all of this is still in date. This is from the last Health by Design. And some of this I found in the back that was still good, right? Some of it's been opened, like this peanut butter. No mold, no nothing. This was stored up in the attic next door in the heat. Still good. Anybody want a sandwich? There's nothing wrong with it. Smells good. It's no mold, no nothing.
And it's crazy because those are the things that they, like, okay, I'm on WIC now, like pregnancy WIC, right? And those are the things that you're allowed to buy, like not the healthier peanut butters.
Yeah. That's a whole nother session. Again, this is for profit, not for nutrition. Sadly, it's the world we live in unless we choose to live in a different world.
You talked about bread.
Yes.
Do we need to eat bread at all?
Okay, so I did not finish my thought there. Thank you so much for bringing me back to this. So this just really isn't that great for you, to be honest with you. So I would say if you were eating something like this, you made a sandwich out of it, peanut butter jelly, healthy peanut butter, pancakes, muffins, whatever you can make out of it, I mean, this is good for you. It's healthy. It has vitamin E in it, which is a natural, on the back of these, you'll see tocopherol. It's just basically an antioxidant. It's God's natural antioxidant. Wheat germ is one of the highest sources of vitamin E. I actually put a little bit of it in like the bread and the muffins. This is wheat germ oil. Again, needs to be refrigerated. Doesn't last very long outside. You probably wouldn't enjoy the taste of it just drinking it, but you put a little bit in here and it helps with vitamin E. So I would say if it's going to be processed bread, I would limit it. I really would.
But do you think with the diet that you could eat more low carb and not have?
Say that last part again.
You know, we're trying to do more low carb now,
Okay.
and so we're not eating bread.
So I mean, I think if the bread you would be eating would be ultra processed bread, then I would say yeah, just go breadless then in that regard.
We don't see anything wrong with our bodies.
Going breadless.
No. I mean, again, this is just calories and macronutrients for the most part. It is. Did I say the right word? Macros. It is deficient in micronutrients, and the ones that are there have been added, and they are synthetic. And for some of us, if it's like folic acid, which my body doesn't process very well, and what happens for people like me, folic acid builds up in my body, and it stays in my body as unmethylated folic acid. And there's a whole wealth of things that come from just that. And again, that happens because there's a compound in it that we weren't designed to consume in the first place. So when people say, oh, I can go overseas and eat grain or breads or whatever and it doesn't mess with my body, well, that's one of the things that they're pointing to probably. They probably have some issue with how their body deals with folic acid, which is in every enriched product has folic acid, a synthetic.
Like a vitamin help with things you would get from bread maybe?
Yeah, so I have a vitamin here that I was taking, me personally. Wrong one. It's a B. I'll just let you look at it. It's a methylated B vitamin. So, yes. But let me kind of say it overarchingly. There is very little, if anything, you are missing by not eating anything that is this or that is like this. Does that make sense? Like calories. You're missing out on more calories, refined sugar, our favorite oils. That's what we're missing out on.
Essentially, it has no nutritional value.
Little, very little. I wouldn't say no, but very little nutritional value. Yeah. Compared to a better option, especially. Stephen?
I just wanted you to say why you're using fresh ground wheat instead of wheat from the store.
Okay, yeah. So the fresh ground wheat, well, one, it has all of the naturally occurring B vitamins that God intended for wheat to have, which is what the disciples ate, what Jesus ate, what antiquity has eaten, right? And they all had mills. You can even hear them talking about the sound of mills and things like that in the Old Testament, right? They milled their own wheat. So when you eat something like that, it doesn't have all the B vitamins. Some of the B vitamins are synthetic, and so you're missing out on the ratios that God intended for breads, grains, pastas, things like that to have. One of the biggest differences also comes down to fiber, because they get rid of the bran, and you're missing out on vitamin E, because after this sits, so when I milled this yesterday, after this sits for like a week, the vitamin E content goes down drastically. Now, I could just add a little extra of this to kind of increase it, but I try to just mill it and use it in the day, that day or the next day or something like that. So did I answer that?
I mean, one of the big things I was just trying to point out is the micronutrients, the vitamins, minerals that you're getting from that break down very quickly.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons why all that stuff is not good for you is because it's been sitting on a shelf for months before it got to the store, to sit on the shelf for months before you got it.
To sit on the shelf for years. You're like, oh, this is past it a year.
Nutritional value, which is what our body needs to function well, is
Yeah.
all gone.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, think micronutrients versus macros. The reality, and I just say this to myself as well, probably none of us in here are really lacking on the macronutrients. Is that a good way to say it? I don't know how else to say it, right? None of us are missing it on the macros, okay? We've got that, right? We got to work on the micronutrients. And if we do that, you're going to find foods that are naturally lower in the macros, but are also more proportioned in the macros, right? And when I say macros, I'm talking about fat, carb, protein, and kind of calories in general, okay? Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So how long can you keep that?
So the wheat berries will last, and if they're in a dry place, probably until Jesus comes back. I really don't know how long they'll last. I mean, they last a very long time in the right, like a cool environment that mice or bugs can't get into. But I use it, but I just keep it in the corner somewhere in my living room. Yeah, I mean, they sell like them. You could get almost like a bucket or something to put it in, a metal canister or a plastic one or anything. It just needs to be kept probably in the AC, just so that stuff doesn't get tempted to come and try and eat them. That bag is almost half empty, and it was $49 or something like that. So you could probably find a slightly cheaper version of it, but again, I'd say I spent a decent amount of money on this and that, but again, somebody said, you either pay a little bit of money now or you pay a lot more money later, right? So part of this is just encouraging us. And to be honest with you, some of you may feel like, you know what, I've got too far to go to get there. It's not true. It really isn't. It's not.
You just start with minor changes.
Yes. Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
kind of like forming a habit, like you do like a couple of things, and then once you get those down,
Yeah. Yeah. And that's part of Health by Design 1 really was 7 steps. Just choose a step. Start there, add another step, or I'm at 4,000 steps a day, add 1,000, right? And then from there, maybe add some more, right? So just trying to take those steps, right? So yes, ma'am.
The alternative was for me is to make I wouldn't have used that because I grew up where my mother used to make bread out of milk.
Okay.
And so I'm learning, I'm going back to that to learn to make it that way.
Uh-huh.
And she, I can even remember her using some type of other squashes to make thin bread.
Mm-hmm.
Because in Haiti, that's where they make bread. They have that.
Yeah. I am not saying this is the only way to make bread or that you have to use wheat. I'm simply saying in comparison to that and the overwhelming majority of that you can buy at the store, this is just infinitely better, But yeah, there's all different types of, whether it's root or whatever that you could make something out of, that it doesn't have to just be wheat. So thank you for that. Yes, this is complicated. I'm not going to lie. I'm trying to find an easier way to make this bread. Maybe Christian can help me. But yeah. So with that being said, we are going to do a little taste testing, all right? So, so we're going to kind of wheel out some bread, some oils, and I know that you probably don't want to, okay? But I really would like for you to try America's favorite oils, okay? Even if it's just a little dip, just so that you know this is what is in it. Does that make sense? To just say, okay, I would never use that ever, but it's in a lot of my stuff. Now, if you don't want to, you don't have to, but we're going to have, okay, so how do we want to do this? So, do you have another one of these, Cam? Yeah, another cart. I'm just thinking, I didn't think through where I wanted to put this. Oh, Stephen, there's a lecture table right there. Can you grab it? We'll just set it up right here. Can you move that microphone? Just maybe put it next to the TV. Nobody's been using it. I also didn't tell anybody to use it. We're going to put it on a lecture table right here, Cam. People can just come up and eat it. Yeah, just right here. Yeah, we're just going to put it here. Okay, also, during this time, I want you all to just come up here. If there's something that you want to try, just try it. And if there's something over here that you want to try, you could try that too. But so if you've never tried olive oil, if it has a high polyphenol content, which is the really good stuff inside of oil that most of us never talk about, polyphenols are essentially antioxidants. They keep free radicals and things that would damage cells and other things in our body at bay, okay? They also have other effects beyond that, but just for now, just think they help in that regard. Some of these have more polyphenols, some of them are a little spicier, but I would like for everybody to at least just try some, okay? This, if you're like, I'm on a budget, but I would really like to buy some, Sam sells this, okay? It actually is good. It is a little spicy, okay? And then you can get these for a couple dollars from your local store. This is flaxseed oil, again, healthy. It was refrigerated. It's going to go back in the refrigerator once we're done. Probably only need to keep it for a couple weeks. And then we also have these as well, okay? So, yeah, y'all can get up and we'll just.
Did you make that
I made this bread, yes. So this is this. Yeah. So unless any of you have any allergies, let me know. I didn't make any like, it is definitely not gluten-free bread, I can tell you that. Yes. Best concerning what? What is this for? Can you help me pour some of these, Kim? So the one that I personally like the best is Night. So this one is my favorite. Day is pretty strong.
How much was the night one?
$34.
So what's is that the most expensive one there?
Night and day were basically the same price. My goodness, they've really got that. Oh, I need a couple more, Cam. Here, I'll let y'all help me pour it. It started. Did you pour that in there, Cam? Oh, yeah. And then there's seasoning for those of you that... I think you would just need to put the seasoning on your bread so that you don't pour it in there. Ah.
I was actually in Italy.
This even pours so much. So those feel like science projects if I'm not lying. Okay, Night. Okay, yeah. Y'all come on and try some stuff. Oh, Cam. Oh, yeah, you can grab a bowl from back there. There's butter and there's, I can't believe it's not butter. Because it isn't. If anybody wants to try that. Is nobody going to get up and try some stuff? The what? Oh, yeah. So it's going to be a little strong. I'm just warning you. Hey, can you go in the back? All right, who's been bold enough to try the motor oil? Who's tasted the motor oil? That is weird.
It's just like,
It does taste like wet oil. Oh no. Oh, that tastes worse. If you submerge it, then you get their full flavor. Submerge it. Y'all were just dipping it.
I dropped it in my yogurt, dropped it on bread, you know, just like I would do olive oil. Well, because that's how she it just goes very regular. Very regular. Then sometimes I make, take prunes and oil and make you'll know when you back in the same
A note of warning. The flaxseed oil is extremely strong. Like, whoa. That is really strong. Yeah, I don't like that.
Yes. For pain. Yeah, for pain. That's what mom used to always do. Yes. Oh yeah. They even make a patch on Amazon that you buy that you put the oil in and it draws instead of you taking it, it'll draw the skin, draw it the way you think it will make your lemonade. Make your lemonade.
And don't. The flaxseed oil is really, 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 really yuck.
You put castor oil and salt on top of it.
Yeah, that is. Can't do it.
But you know that, Barnes Drugstore sells the good. Yeah, she does. Yeah, that's the only place I can tell you to buy real castor oil in town. I was going to take a picture, but I left my phone. No, it's a totally different company. It's richer.
I use these for my skin.
It's richer than this.
So you just
See,
put it like in your bread or what?
it's richer than this. This is good.
Some of my skin, but then the rest of this is skin.
See, I told you. You have to be careful. One is for hair and skin when you eat.
It really depends.
So you have to watch it when you
I'm
order it.
mixed, so I can put oil in my scalp. But for y'all, probably, I don't know how much. Because it makes your hair really oily, and I don't know if you want that. But that would be good for Maria. Yes.
Yeah. I have some on now. My face right here, I have some of that on now.
I
You
use
mix it
coconut
in
oil
some
on my
everything.
scalp. Because it also,
But
it's
Barnes
solid.
is the best
I didn't
natural.
use it today.
You hear what I was saying? I said Barnes, out of these right here, this is good. But I would get the one that's from Barnes. It's heavier, and it's clearer. It's better than this right here. I would recommend it better than this if you go consume it. But this is good for your skin. I use it on my skin every day.
I mean, I got it from Walmart.
And folks say, I put it on my feet. I put it on my feet. Say, yeah. Yes. For the teeth. Yeah. 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 Okay.
Brandon, do you have your phone on you? Take a picture of those right now.
So what do you have affiliated with Barnes? Okay. All right. Oh, are you? Okay. Yeah, I grew up with them. Yes. The home house, they just tore down the home house, last year or the year before? The home house that's right here on 4th Street. Yeah. They just tore down the house.
Just a dive in.
It's their home house.
Oh.
Just a reminder, the stuff is for tasting, not for taking, in the sense of like, you can't take the whole bag. It's not like yours. Because half of this is mine, but I brought it up here for y'all to taste stuff. Give me my bread back, brother.
Yes. No, the house now, his house. Yes, yes, and then you know the other one, then yeah, no, and then the other one, you know, they live in the other one right there close to the corner. You know, there's two other houses right there. Yep. Huh? Last year. Yeah, this last year. I don't know whether that was it, but it's old. It was old. It was old. Yeah, that's all. Yep. That's good. I got one zinc. That's natural oil. You know, that's
All right.
company is divided.
So, any thoughts?
Yeah, but I was.
No thoughts? Everyone's talking? So the flaxseed is terrible tasting. I mean, absolutely horrid.
You don't like it?
And the canola oil and soybean oil have very little flavor at all. Did anybody try the balsamic vinaigrette? It's good. So that guy sells it down in Gainesville, and it's the same guy who owns Florida Olive Farms, I believe it is. And their olive oil is actually really good as well.
And they have right there.
Florida Olive Farms down in Florida at Gainesville. You can get it online at Florida Olive Farms, I believe it is. Let me look. Yes, FloridaOliveFarm.com.
You said where is the best place to find a lot of the better things? I mean,
Yes,
you
we're
said that.
we're gonna we're gonna get to that. Yep.
Best thing on the whole table, right?
You like kimchi?
Best thing in the garden. Oh my God,
Yeah, it's good for you. I mean, the Mediterranean diet is so healthy because they eat fish and they eat a lot of extra virgin olive oil. Those two things are the biggest contributors to their health. I was trying to see kind of, y'all can browse. Yeah, we're about to get up and browse again, so maybe let's sit down really quick and then we'll get up and grab something if you want it. Like just take some chips or whatever. Yeah.
He was actually telling me that there's a store downtown called Art Sold that sells olive oil.
Really?
Okay, yeah, so, do you know that downtown store that has all the doohickeys?
It's called Art and Soul. It's a Lindsay. Apparently she has like an orange or something.
Yeah, the owner has a farm in Georgia. Art and Soul. The owner has a farm in Georgia. She presses her farm.
I didn't know that she had olive oil, but I've been to her store.
Cool. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next part. We're running behind. It's fine. I'll just cut some of the later stuff, but it's okay. So, any thoughts real quick before we go to the next thing? Did y'all like the olive oil? Was it kind of spicy? Was it? Who liked the canola and soybean oil? Anybody? Yeah, it's supposed to be like that. It's just kind of supposed to be relatively tasteless, so they can put it in everything. You like the bread? Thank you, sir. Yeah, I'll put all the recipes in the. Oh, are you sure? Was it a smaller thing? Yeah, but it might have been like a less. Well, it's very good. I looked up the info. With bread? Yeah. I thought about that until I realized how difficult it is to actually make bread, how it's supposed to be made, and then I don't want to do it anymore. Yeah. Well, I think I'll have Christian run my bakery. Somebody wants to bake it, yeah, but I mean, it's amazing for you. It really is. I do encourage you to like kind of do a deep dive on the health benefits of bread. Miss, oh my goodness, I can't remember her name. From Bread Beckers, what's her name? Did I send you that video?
34 ounce.
Oh, yeah. Well, it looks like this is only $10 at Sam's, but that's a really good deal. So there you go if you have a Sam's membership. It's single source as well. It comes from that place in Italy, and it has to follow the Italian regulations for extra virgin olive oil. So it's just a really good one. Sue Becker, yeah. The Bread Beckers, if you're interested in more information on bread or freshly milled stuff. Okay, so we're going to move on because we're about to get back up again. Okay, so this is one of the first of the apps. So if you don't have this app, you should be able to scan that, and it will take you to download it. So we're going to kind of practice using this. For those of you who already know how to use it, you can help the person next to you. So yeah, I'll give you a second to download that, and then we're going to get up, and we're going to start scanning stuff. And then we're going to kind of go through kind of what it has. So I will say this. The score it gives you is helpful. But I've found it's really only helpful if the score is like really low or really high. Normally, it doesn't do the greatest job of giving you an accurate score in the middle. I actually scanned something. Where is it at? I think it's this. No, it's not. I'll find it in a second, and I'll have you guys scan it. Maybe one of you will find it, but it said, Yuka does not give nutrition information on high protein something. And I was like, that was the first time I had ever scanned something, and it told me that it can't give it to me because it has too much protein in it. Oh, it was the peanut powder. Yeah, peanut powder. It said it, and it's not like crazy high in protein. Anyways, so you'll find these weird instances where the app actually is not very useful. And obviously, whatever behind the scenes or whatever the ethos of the company is that decides what is healthy and what isn't, is going to kind of come into play here. But generally, if it gets a 0 or a 1 or a 5, it's not good, right? If it's poor, bad, then it's like it's probably this. But if it's yellow even, it's starting to come over here, right? So like 40 and up normally. So has everyone got the app downloaded? We good? Okay, so let's get up. And I want you guys to just start scanning stuff. And once we scan a few things, I'll kind of call us to maybe like sit back down or something. The goal is I just want you to scan stuff. I just want you to see what does it say. Click on, the biggest thing you want to click on, listen up real quick. The biggest thing you want to click on is additives, right? It may say, this has too much fat in it. Well, maybe it had 1 gram over the limit of what they feel like is too much fat for that serving size, and it puts it down in a totally different category, right? Doesn't mean it's terrible. Like, I scanned these, the sardines, right? These are healthy. They only use olive oil. Like, this is probably one of the best sources of omega-3, DHA, and things like that you can get. And Yuga doesn't rate it that high. So it's not a 0 or 1, but it's like a, I don't know, maybe a 40 or something. So you're going to find stuff like that. You're really wanting to make your own decision after you look at it, right? And say, okay, it nicked one thing and it's got a 40 and it just says it has too much fat. Whatever, right? So we ready? All right, y'all can get up and come just start scanning stuff. Again, I don't really, I'm just looking, I'm looking for it to be kind of over 40, and then I make my own decision from there. Because we got to live in this world, right? Unless we're going to make everything ourselves. I'll have Cam turn it down. Cam, can you turn the AC down a little bit?
I draw a lot of sardines. Don't trust the seed oil.
I'm just gonna scan everything.
I don't think I could do sardines out of a can like that.
They still have eyes, right?
Well, here's the thing.
That's the stuff that
I don't like what I do anyway. I'm just so healthy that like everything else. I think it's testosterone fish. You should try it too.
I do. I tried to. I had to stop. I was getting too much testosterone. And I wasn't even taking testosterone. What? I was getting huge, man. Too much.
No more questions, please. No more questions.
It's like the maggot thing, you know?
How does that correlate?
Alright, I'm just gonna walk over here. There's no way.
Yeah, I need to get my blood work done. Cornell was trying to get me to do
still
that.
together.
Yeah, you know. I want to do a fingerprint.
No, I already know what happened.
I bet there's some things that like look at it.
I was researching.
I think I've kind of figured out how my body likes it.
Yeah, but I was gonna go to the store next paycheck.
Well, that's like
Grab
everything.
for like buy food. I was gonna talk to Cornell. So.
That's me all.
I've just started watching it.
How do you stay?
But you know, we in the second time it's done like this. I'm like, like, grab like spaghetti, whatever you want. Then I get dry so arguing about our workout. And I'm like, and you can't unknow things, you know? And it's so frustrating. I was
Yeah.
for example, even if it's not, it's an image, but I mean, comics, just looking at the comics, and I'm not
After coffee, after lunch, at night.
But there's one that has olive oil, which is what the original recipe. And man, that's the best one. I think it's like Miami something.
It was actually a lot, so I just like got one out of it. It was a lot what I got. It was a lot.
Just kind of slowly making tweaks and adjustments when you buy something. I like replaced the pan the other day, but if you replace it, make it close to you don't hit anything that's plastic or rubber anymore.
it's a good thing.
Yeah. But,
It's better.
yeah, better.
And then you're in the better.
Got one out, but I just like
That's something.
put it back in and I just messed up the code. I know what it was, but
Better red, actually. Not as easy, but not as bad. They got a better score on the app, so
So have y'all been using the app or something? This one or another one?
This one. The only thing is, unless you pay for it, it only, you can't just like search things. You have to scan the actual barcode of the product. But if you're like, hey, I'm looking to type it in, better to type it in, you have to pay for it. So.
What I like on that app is it shows you alternates. Like if you scan something and you're like, oh, that's pretty crappy, and then underneath it, there's like 10 alternatives that are better than that.
Right.
That's nice.
Yeah.
What is that? It's overwhelming. And then frustrating because you're like, just get with the time.
Stores that sell all the stuff that is actually good.
All right, what have we been finding? Has anybody scanned the healthy oil down on the bottom because Yuka says that it's healthy. So I think they got 70s. The vegetable oil and the canola oil got 70s, maybe an 80, I think. So, yeah, well, it says it's low in this and doesn't have sugar and all the other stuff. but the Yuka app doesn't. The Yuka app doesn't take it. I know. So again, that's the reason I say you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt. You have to have an underlying knowledge. No, you're not allowed to take those as church property. You can eat it at lunch. It may not scan because it's from another country, but you can scan this one because that's from Sam's. Yuka, right up there. Just scan that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was in the back talking.
Nobody scanned that up there.
What? Skin what? Oh, the Lucky Charms.
No, it's not Lucky Charms. What is it?
Oh no, I scanned to download the app.
Wait, the barcode?
Yeah.
Is it something you put in
It was
there?
an Easter egg. It's Doritos. Good old Red 40 and
That's crazy. Oh my gosh, no two eyes, right?
yeah.
I always buy that back there. Saturated fat.
All right, so what did we find? Any thoughts? Any questions? What's my favorite snack? It's going to sound really boring. I like bread and oil. It's one of my favorite snacks. Lori's favorite snack is cosmic apples.
Technically, it's bad.
So let me give you an example of something that is better for you. Yuka may not rate it so high. So this has 3 ingredients: corn, avocado oil, and sea salt, but it got a 38? It said a 38.
51.
Did she scan the wrong thing?
Yeah, the other tips is
Oh, I'm sorry. Boulder. So these are potatoes, avocado oil, and sea salt. They have a 38. And they're most likely going to have that because it's going to say that it has too much fat, right? So, I mean, at the end of the day, this is a potato chip still, right? And potato chips are still a snack. They're not a main food source, right? So you can get it because it's better, but it doesn't mean that it's good for you. Does that make sense? Like, if I had to choose between this and eating some bread and some olive oil that I made, then it's like, that's better, right? All right, any other thoughts or questions? So I'd encourage y'all just to start, for those of you who haven't already, just start incorporating that into just your shopping experience. And when you think that something is remotely unhealthy, then you can see how unhealthy it might be. But again, remember that there's going to be things like this that are healthy, according to Yuka. I mean, even this one is certified by the American Heart Association. You see it? That's like the official stamp of approval, right? It can't get healthier than that. Yeah, they gave him some money, is right. So just realizing that that app has flaws, but it is helpful for you to be able to drill down and see what the additives are. That's normally what I'm looking for. I'm not so concerned with the fat and stuff like that. Okay, so this next one is going to take us probably a pinch longer in the beginning, okay? Now, I'm not saying that we all have to use this, okay? But I would like for at least some of us at the tables to play around with this. So ChatGPT is essentially a large language model. It's what we would call, quote unquote, artificial intelligence. It is not artificially intelligent in the way that we would think of in like the movies or Terminator or something like that, right? It's, did somebody say not yet? It's potentially, right? I don't know if AI will ever become conscious because it doesn't have a soul. But that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. For today, it can help us get healthier, okay? So if it's not against your conscience, I would like you to download it. If you have something similar on your phone already, like Google's Gemini or Grok or some other model, right? It should do the same job. But if you haven't already, I'm going to give you a second to just download that, and then we're going to kind of play around with some things a little bit, okay? Well, you know what I'm going to do with this, Elijah? I'm going to leave it just like this. We're going to put it in a box. We're going to put it in storage. I'm going to bring it back. We'll smell it again. If you want to taste some, it'll be good in 6 months. Hey, these are basically science experiments that we eat. Oh yeah, if you haven't tried these poppy sodas, they're pretty good for you. They've only got a few grams of sugar in them, and they're healthy. Or kombucha. Okay, so have we all done something with the ChatGPT or some AI, something on our phone if we want to? Yeah? Yes. We've got a lot of table discussion. I feel like everyone's like, not paying attention. It's fine, though. Which is good. So, I want you to think of a question that you want to ask me, and then I want you to ask it to ChatGPT or Grok or whatever you have, okay? Because I don't go with you once we leave here, okay? And what we'll do is we'll kind of talk about some of its responses and things like that. With that, though, I want potentially, if you can't think of something, let's make it practical. I was going to make lists from all the grocery stores of healthy items, but I figured it would be easier for you to pick a grocery store, and then you can ask it, these are some things that I'm looking for. These are some things I do not want. And you can just use the word ultra-processed, right? I don't want ultra-processed foods or seed oils in my food. Give me some items from Publix, or give me some salad dressings, give me some whatever, and it will help give you a list, okay? So there's super helpful, convenient tools. I can either fish for you, I can teach you to fish. I'm trying to teach you to fish, okay? So think of a question, maybe tie it to a local grocery store if you're looking for items, and let's just kind of depending on what you have, you can come up here and you can scan it. You can say, hey, tell me all the bad stuff in this. And it will.
Just like the disciples and Jesus, I can just walk alongside him and eventually, okay?
Yes. So that's a question up there if you want to follow that one. If you had a question that you wanted to ask me, ask it. Also, raise your hand if you would like any help with either downloading it or talking to something or now sometimes, I would say not sometimes, all times, AI is really only as good as the information it has access to and the question you ask it. So if you ask the wrong question, you may get the answer that answers the question you shouldn't have asked in the first place, right? So you kind of have to know how to ask the question you want sometimes. So has anybody asked a question yet? Does anybody want to give a response of what it said?
I'll give an example of how I've used it recently.
Okay, how you've used it recently.
So, for context, I have 4 children that hate everything that I cook for dinner. And so, I made a list of...
Stephen, can you grab that mic for her? No, it's the questions I can re-say back into the mic for people on the live stream, but for a long testimony, it's hard.
Okay, so one example of how I used it. I have 4 kids. Nobody likes the same meal ever. So I made a list of I think it was 20 or 25 meals that at least 2 kids will eat. Made my list, put it into ChatGPT, said meal plan for the month. I want 5 meals a week, pair similar recipes, ingredients, so I'm not buying, the whole grocery store every week. Similar ingredients on each week, and make a rotating meal plan for me for the month. And so it did. It said, okay, here's your 5 for week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and then it asked, do you want me to create a grocery list? I was like, sure, yeah, go for it, ChatGPT. And so it made me a grocery list, but the grocery list was not super accurate. Like you said, whatever you input, you get better output. And so if you say, this is the recipe I have for this chicken dish, or this is the recipe I have for that, make my grocery list with that. So there's still some back and forth and some tweaking you would do with it. But it was really helpful. And then it's one less thing that I have to think about. I did not tell it no seed oils. But I do limit
Yeah.
dairy and seed oils.
That's good. Anybody else have anything that they'd like to share about ChatGPT? Any testimony? Or Grok or whatever?
So I used Grok and ChatGPT, and one of the things that I've done recently is just trying to, like we were talking about micronutrients in bread earlier, is trying to evaluate what micronutrients I'm lacking in. And so here's a micronutrient breakdown for what I ate a few days ago, and for reference, I overate in calories by probably 800 calories more than what I needed. But for the micronutrients, vitamin A, I was only at 72% of what the daily value. Vitamin C, I was over 100. Vitamin D, I was 15%. Now, you get some vitamin D from being outside, but for what I actually consumed, only 15%. Vitamin E, 21%. Vitamin K, 59%. Vitamin B2, 54%. Vitamin B3, over 100. B6, over 100. B12, over 100. Folate, 54%. Choline, 73%. Iron, 94%. Zinc, over 100. Selenium, over 100. Phosphorus, over 100. Calcium, 60%. Magnesium, 78%. Potassium, 56%. I could keep going. And this is only a list of what I was actually getting. There's a list of vitamins, minerals, and micronutrients that's almost as long as what it's showing me that I was getting, that I actually am not getting anything in.
Wow.
And so all of these micronutrients that you need are lacking in our food. And again, like I said, I overate calorie-wise, and my micronutrients level were under 100%. And this is on a day where I was very careful to eat a very healthy breakfast and eat a very healthy lunch, and then I overate, poor quality stuff at supper. And still, my micronutrient levels are not what I need, what my body needs, what I was designed to have and be healthy.
That's good. Thank you for that.
Yeah, you can use ChatGPT for that. There's another one, but there are multiple apps. They'll all do the same thing. They'll just give it to you slightly different. This one is called Grok. It's the Elon Musk AI that he's got out.
Yeah, they all do essentially the same thing. Yeah, I mean, some are slightly better at other things, but I'd encourage you just kind of one, you learn kind of how you have to say things, or just you could go into your pantry, depending on the version that you have and whether it's a paid or free version. You could just take some pictures and say, these are the snacks that I feed my kids or that we eat, that I eat, right? What are we deficient in if these are our snacks? You could ask it a question like that, right? And it'll say, hey, here's all the things you're deficient in. Or you could say, hey, what's the health detriment of eating this stuff as snack food, right? And then you could add, we also eat this, this, and this. And it could just give you a generalized, hey, these are some benefits. You're getting your calories. And then it'll say, you're deficient in all of these other things, right? And it's just helpful. And then you can say, okay, well, can you help me find some healthy alternatives to the snacks that I just showed you in my pantry at Publix, right? And it will show you. Again, it's not 100%. There's going to be some errors. Sometimes it hallucinates and gives you pizza when you ask for chicken. You know what I'm saying? You're like, okay, what's wrong with you? But it's, you get significantly better than you get bad options, right? You can just set that anywhere. Oh, you had something?
I was just going to say, use AI as an assistant.
Yes.
It's really good at helping you. It's not good at solving all the problems. It just makes some of your things easier for you because of how much information it has access to.
So, yes, Lori?
With the ChatGPT,
Uh-huh.
people pay for a certain account, some people don't. Is there what do you get with that? I'm not trying to get people with it as it relates to something like this. How would it help us if we paid for something?
So if you pay for ChatGPT, you're going to get the latest models, which have better reasoning. You can also select the model. So I use it enough to know I select 4.0 if I want general reasoning, I just want a quick answer, but I want general everything. I select 3.0 if I want it to spend more time thinking and going out and getting as many sources as possible. So if I'm making a grocery list, I would probably use that one just because it's going to go out to Publix and all these other things. And the other one does too, but this one just spends more time doing it, right? So that's one. For starting, I would just say use free because you're gonna be like, oh my God, this does everything. It's well, it does most things. I think you can't scan a picture in the free version, so you can't take a picture in ChatGPT and have it analyze it and do all this other stuff, huh? You get 3 pictures. You get 3 pictures. So paid, you get unlimited, right? It also isn't. I think the free version can't really do cross-chat breakdown. Say you've been talking to ChatGPT for a year and you talked about bread a year ago and you're asking it a current question, but you want it to reference something that it gave you. The paid version is going to be able to do that. I don't think the free version does. And then there's just a couple things like that that I would say just start with free. And if you run into a roadblock, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm taking pictures and just saying, hey, help me with this is super useful. I'll pay $20 a month for it. You know what I'm saying? Or something like that. So, Sarah?
I was going to say, I use it a lot at work, and it gives you a certain amount of the latest model per day.
Okay, so, sweet. Any other questions, thought? Does anybody want to share anything they asked it? No? Laurel, can you talk into them?
This is really simple. I like breakfast bars, and so I asked for a healthy breakfast bar. First, it went through everything you want to look for in a healthy breakfast bar, gave you a list of that. Then it listed the healthy breakfast bars to buy, and then it even listed simple recipes that are healthy for breakfast.
Wow.
Just like that. And I'm sold on AI, by the way.
Well, it's happening. Anybody else? Daniel?
Okay, so I asked.
Just 1 second, real quick, sir.
Check. Okay. So I was trying to figure out what healthy milks to consume.
Healthy what?
Milks.
You mean
like so almond milk like so
milk
like,
alternatives?
Yeah, and I remember you telling me that almond milk had like high in omega-6.
There's I think with almonds are high in omega-6, and we tend to have really out of whack omega-3 to omega-6 ratios, but I feel like they put barely any almonds in almond milk because it's just like almond water is what I like to call it. But for those of you who love almond milk, continue.
But it gave me like a list of brands that are like shorter. They don't have emulsifiers in them or gums or artificial ingredients or no added sugars, which is helpful. And then I asked it like, what about the omega-6 to omega-3 like ratio? And it was saying like almond, because of the almond milk, it's not as high as like almonds or vegetable oil, of course, would be. Which is helpful to know, but the ratio is still like well over 100 to 1. But it's like, basically it was saying like, as long as you're not consuming like more than like a cup at a time, it's negligible, like I guess the effects on your body over time, at least this is based on AI, but I mean, it also gave other alternatives, like hemp milk is one that apparently it has a more balanced ratio. There's like unsweetened coconut milk.
Yeah, if you're military, don't drink hemp milk.
Like goat milk, grass-fed, or organic cow's milk was some other like options.
Goat milk is really excellent, really good.
Goat milk?
No, it doesn't. I've tried goat milk.
It's really good for you. Tastes good, not so much. Like that flaxseed oil was terrible. Thank you, Daniel.
So I went to the doctor to have a checkup.
Okay.
And when I got my report back, my triglycerides were just above what the normal is.
Mm-hmm.
And pre-diabetic is what my doctor said it was. And so I asked ChatGPT about what I should eat and how I can lower my triglycerides, and it gave me a whole list to cut down on added sugar, soda, sweets, pastries. Don't have that. Refined carbs. Don't do the white bread, pasta, rice, or chips. And then it's the trans fats. You need to watch those. Fried foods, fast foods, and what? And it said alcohol, even moderate amounts, can spike triglycerides. Eat more omega-3 foods, salmon, sardines, mackerel, walnuts, and flax seeds. That surprised me, flax seeds. Eat the high fiber foods, and it just goes on and on with the different foods. And then it says exercise 30 minutes a day, and losing 5 to 10% of your body weight can significantly lower triglycerides. So it says see your doctor, and it gives all the supplements you can take and all the juices, daily routines, sample meals. It just goes on and on.
Wow.
So it's got a lot of information.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. And again, we got to take all of it with a grain of salt. You may ask it a question and it gives you an answer, and the answer is wrong. Just, it happens sometimes.
How do you know if it's right or wrong?
That's the problem. You don't.
You have to do additional research.
You kind of do. Yeah. So what I do, like for things like this, I use it a lot. And I normally use the scholar section of ChatGPT because I'm interested in peer-reviewed research that backs what I'm asking. Like, so I'm not just okay with it giving me an answer. I want it to show me what it used to influence the answer that it gave me with a link. So if you look at, when you scan that, you should see, if you scroll down, it may either be in what is there or the links are below it, right? In both the first one and the second one, Health by Design 1 and 2 on that Google Doc, you'll see links that you can go, if you want to go and read the most boring paper you've ever read in your life, you can go read the research papers on whatever, but that's what it was using. I didn't want it to just go to the internet and find some Reddit post, and tell me what they said there, So asking it specific questions helps give more specific answers. And part of that you just learn as you ask it questions. So thank you for that. Any other thoughts, questions? Yes, Mr. Ken.
How does chat compare with Google?
With Grok?
Yeah, whatever.
I don't use Grok, so Stephen can maybe answer that question.
So I use both, and what I've found is that Grok seems to be less concise. ChatGPT will give you the information in much more condensed format. Grok is less willing to accept generalizations, and so I've basically argued with it, trying to say, hey, this is what I think. Is this correct? And if in general that what I'm saying is correct, and it'll go, yes, but that doesn't apply everywhere, and so you always have to take these considerations.
So it argues with you?
I'm sorry?
It argues with you?
Yes. Yeah. ChatGPT will do that, but it's much less aggressive.
Yeah.
And it's I argue a lot less with ChatGPT. It's much more willing to say you're right than Grok is. That's probably the biggest difference I've found.
Yeah. Sometimes ChatGPT can be a little too much of a pat you on the back kind of, wow, that is the most amazing, insightful question I've ever heard in my life. I'm like, okay. I just asked, the difference between olive oil and, heart health or something like that. It's it does make you feel good, I'm not going to lie. Okay, any other thoughts, questions about, yes, Abigail? Yeah, so I'm going to talk about that end of the table in a second. So, thank you. Okay, so if we don't have any more questions, I'm going to move on to the kind of final little part, and then I'm going to talk about some of that, and we'll do some eating. We good? Okay. Okay, I already asked if we have questions. Okay, so this part is part of kind of taking a little bit more control. So it's one thing to know kind of what is out here. Like, that's a great step, and we need to do that because out here controls what's in here, right? So for me, I was like, okay, I've been out of the military since 2012, and up until last year, I had not been to the doctor since then. I had gotten no blood work done, nothing, I'd been at the dentist, but I hadn't been to the doctor. I had no checkup. So Mr. Ken was the first time I had went to the doctor since 2012. So we just did a general checkup, just got blood work done. And with that, I also downloaded this last year. So it's an app called Function. It's by Function Health. And if you want to scan that, it should take you to the landing page that just kind of helps you understand kind of what Function is and what it isn't. So the short is, it's about $500. It is $500. It's $499 plus whatever additions you want to add. And what it does is you give blood every 6 months, and it tracks around 100 biomarkers, and you can add additional biomarkers, right? The results come directly to your phone in a way that's really easy for you to understand. They also have individuals that kind of give you a breakdown, and then there's also kind of AI generated that's probably moderated by people that give you a breakdown to just say, hey, are you kind of out of the limits? Are you not? Are you like almost non-existent in this area? I'm not using it to replace a doctor necessarily. I actually, when I went actually the beginning of this week or last week, I went to Mr. Ken and I showed him my results from 6 months ago and my most recent results. Some of the results have increased and some of them have decreased. But I can look at the decrease in the results and I know why they decreased. So last year, I was doing a lot more intermittent fasting. So I was eating at lunchtime instead of eating, really drinking coffee with cream and sugar in the morning. Now, it might not seem like it, but when you break your fast with sugar and fat, it's going to affect cholesterol. Does it make sense? It just does, right? So the heart section of my function has went down while everything else has went up. Now, I also did not take my own advice. I stopped drinking this, on using this, and I switched almost exclusively to this. Now, does that mean that this is bad? No. It just means for me and my diet and me changing from eating at 11 to 12, instead waking up at 6 and basically starting my blood sugar at that time with sugar and fat, that was detrimental for me, right? Now, again, I'm not just trying to self-diagnose or anything like that. I kind of came to some conclusions. It gives you a really good breakdown. And then I took these to Mr. Ken. We did another blood panel because it's free. My insurance covers it. So I said, sure, why not? Just so he has his own personal record. And we're just going to kind of walk and see. So I'm just trying this out, really. And I'm giving this to you as a potential research. Because think about it. Say I have this on my phone. Let's just say this was around 10 years ago, and I've been tracking my levels for 10 years, and I can see, oh, wow, in this season of my life, I was drinking a bunch of soda. In this season of my life, I was super active. I was in CrossFit, and I was doing this, this, and this. This season, I was intermittent fasting. This season, I wake up and eat whatever I want in the morning. You know what I'm saying? A bunch of butter, no olive oil. You know what I'm saying? So at least even in this short little window of time, I'm able to kind of see, for the most part, how my lifestyle, because a lifestyle is something that is over more than a few days, right? Like it's something that you're doing over some months. So if I'm getting my blood drawn every 6 months, then it's really giving me a good snapshot of how my lifestyle and diet is directly affecting what's on the inside of me, right? So I was talking with Sarah, and Sarah had said, would you share that real quick, Sarah?
So in February, I think, for about a month, I was really sick, and I didn't know why. And it turned out that I was vitamin deficient, and mainly in B12 and vitamin D. And I had really weird symptoms that didn't make any sense until they were all put together, and then I realized I wasn't getting any B12. And I had no energy. I was nauseous every day. They were just really weird. I had like ulcers in my mouth, and it didn't connect at all with anything except for vitamins.
Yeah.
So since then, I've been taking them religiously, I guess you would say, and I've made like a full recovery. So I just said it's really important to make sure that you get all the nutrients.
Wow, that's good. Thank you for that. And, I was thinking, apart from last year, when I was in the military, they drew my blood. I was in the Air Force for 6 years. Oh, well, thank you for serving. Thank you. They would draw my blood. I didn't care what it said. It's like, as long as I'm not dying, I don't need to know, It's like they'd draw it and do whatever checks they did, and that was it. I'm pretty sure the doctor looked at it, but I never knew about it, right? So it wasn't until last year that there was just a couple things kind of off on my blood with Mr. Ken that I was like, you know what? I would love to be able to kind of download something and just kind of see what's going on. And how does that track over the course of time? And again, this is like Yuka, as the Yuka app, right? You got to take it with a grain of salt, right? They've got kind of population averaged bars. And if you're 1 point above that bar, you're out of range. If you're 1 point below it, you're below, right? So if you're not in that sweet spot, so to speak, and I'll show you in a second. I just got to make sure if I can get this to work. If you're not in that sweet spot, then they may say, okay, it's out of range. And it's like, okay, well, I'm not a doctor. I take it to Mr. Ken. I say, hey, help me understand what this is saying. I've got 16 or 15 out of range out of 100 and something, right? And a few that are improving. Just kind of, what does this mean? And like, what changes can I make? You know, it gives me a diagnosis, of what I could do. I can ask ChatGPT, and then I can ask a real person, right, who's a medical professional. So I'm kind of combining them. Does that make sense? Okay, so give me a second, and I'll kind of try and show you. Has everyone scanned that wants to scan it? Because I'm about to switch slides. So this is kind of what it looks like on the app, but I'm going to try and see if I can do this. Give me a second. Okay, I need to go Aircast. Oh boy. Christian, do you know what he did with this? Yeah. I just want to show them kind of what it looks like. And he set up Aircast, but okay, that's the presentation from the beginning. And then that's Aircast. Oh, there it is. Did I get it? Oh, there it is. Oh, it's kind of laggy. It's not updating. I don't know what I need to do. What do I need to do, Christian? It says I'm on it, but it won't. It's just stuck on that. Any ideas, Chris? It says that I'm connected to FLC GFX computer. It's showing up on the back. Yeah, but it's not showing. Here, let me just bear with me for a second. Yeah, but it's frozen. Did you kick me?
Yeah, I did. Try to see if I can switch back. Try again.
Okay. Well, it doesn't look like it's wanting to show up. Can I connect maybe with my phone? Can I just come back there and log in? Yeah, because it's just not working. I don't know what to do. Or do I? Yeah, it's just stuck buffering. Okay, well, it's not working. Sorry, guys. I wanted to kind of show you what it looked like. But that demo page kind of gives you an idea of kind of like, it's essentially just going to show metrics that are in and out of range. But I can't get it back. Yeah. Can you just put it back on like, maybe like near last slide, I think it was. Session 3, nutrition. I think it's slide 54. I'm going to answer Abigail's question. Okay, so a lot of you asked about what do I do with some of these oils? So these are just cold pressed organic oils. This is castor, sweet almond. There was another one. Oh, pumpkin seed oil. So your question was, how do I know what I should take and what I shouldn't, and what's got crap in it and what doesn't, essentially? So some of this is just process of, I guess, elimination. But I figured if it's got one ingredient in it, it's organic and it's cold pressed, and it's probably the better version, right? So, people for most of history just put oil on their body. We read it in the Old Testament, they anointed with oil, right? It says, even if you're fasting, don't look like you're not fasting, anoint yourself, take a bath, smile, you know what I'm saying? Don't look like you're miserable. So for me, my skin type, my hair, these have worked. So I use coconut oil in my hair, sometimes on my skin, and sweet almond oil, sometimes castor oil or something like that. But the castor oil is kind of sticky and has a little bit of a smell to it. So it just really depends on, I prefer sweet almond or coconut oil for my skin or my hair. I don't really use lotion or anything. What else? I can't speak for the other ones. I'm pretty sure they do, but coconut oil acts as a mild protectant from the sun. I think it's SPF 4 or 5. It's really light, right? So I will say this: if you want to scan your sunscreen with the Yucca app, you can see how low it can go. So, if you had to choose between putting cancerous chemicals on your skin or potentially getting skin cancer from the sun, I can't make that choice for you. I'd rather just wear a long sleeve shirt personally. They're just carcinogenic chemicals. There's really no getting around it. So I would say, ask ChatGPT, what are some other natural sunscreens that I could make or apply to my body or apply to my kid's body, right? That won't burn their eyes or, something like that. Soaps. Me and Grace got this one down in Jacksonville. It's just got a bunch of natural ingredients in it. People used to make soap in their home, and some people still do, This is the dude version of this, It has very little scent, So, some of it's just trial and error. This is a soap. I don't know if any of you smelled it. It actually smells really good. It smells sweeter than I would like, but once you wash in it, you can't really smell it. But it's just got a lot of saponified organic oils and stuff in it. Yes.
We use that to wash our clothes.
This? Okay, yeah. You can use it for a bunch of stuff.
Sorry, we also use white vinegar and baking soda.
White vinegar and baking soda? Yeah. Vinegar is an amazing cleaning agent, right? And it's really cheap, right? What else? And then concerning vitamins, so the Function app has helped because it kind of helps you see, if your blood's drawn and you've selected maybe additional things in the app, you can see, okay, these are my vitamin D levels. This is how they track. This is Sarah, for example. This is where my vitamin B12 level is currently at, right? It's way below what it should be, right? That could be I'm just not taking enough, or there may be something that's just wrong, But I would say most of us are probably deficient in magnesium. It's just kind of one of those things that the foods we eat just normally don't have enough magnesium in them. I don't think I bought my magnesium. Oh, I did. It's right here.
What are symptoms of you think a deficiency in magnesium?
I don't know, to be honest with you. but I think you could ask ChatGPT what the deficiency is and ask it to give you peer-reviewed research that backs up its answer. But I'm not really sure. We don't need a bunch of magnesium. And then, like, when I make like my own essentially Gatorade or some type of sports drink or something like that, I just take like 1 or 2 of these. I put some organic beetroot powder in it because it's already red, but beetroot's good for us. It really helps our veins, like help produce nitric oxide and stuff like that. It's just really good for vasodilation. And I put some potassium citrate in it because another thing that we're normally deficient in is some type of potassium. We know that bananas and stuff like that get potassium, but the amount of potassium we're supposed to consume is actually higher than the amount of sodium. But probably none of us in this room are sodium deficient. So, and then if I remember correctly, you can fact check me on this or ask ChatGPT. I think they work synergistically, like magnesium, potassium, and which one did I miss? Sodium, potassium, magnesium. But I think they can also compete a little bit with each other. So, again, if our sodium's way up here, we're magnesium deficient, and our potassium is somewhere in here, it's kind of like, well, let's just kind of raise magnesium and potassium a little bit. So those are just things that, like, I'm thinking, like, okay, these would be good for me to, I don't do it every day, but like if I'm going to make it, I'm just going to put a little bit in there because I know that I don't consume enough of it anyways. And I'll come back to the rest of those. Yes? What's the best type of magnesium? Yeah.
And also it will help you sleep better if you take that like a little bit before you go to bed.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Funny story. Grace was taking magnesium in the morning and she was sleepy all day. She's like, I can't tell why I'm so sleepy. So, yeah, magnesium glycinate is one of the better ones. Okay, lots of hands. Angela? Used to take what magnesium? Calm. Okay. Yeah. They can't hear. So she was basically saying if your magnesium level's in the right range, then it actually helps you get more REM sleep, deep sleep, and you wake up feeling more rested. Did I summarize that? Thank you. Did you have a question, ma'am?
No, I was saying that's what I take every night is
You take magnesium every night?
and melatonin.
Okay.
I for the dog, so
Okay.
yes, I take 3 magnesium, 3 melatonin, and 2
Okay.
magnesium.
Can you hand this to Cam real quick, and then you can go?
I was trying to figure out the difference between, like I was looking at the different oils that was in the back of these things, and some of them say oil, some of them say lecithin. What is that? Lecithin? Something?
Lecithen?
Yeah, something. Lectin?
Like
Like
soy?
soy lectin and
Yeah, so
sunflower
those are
lectin,
emulsifiers, I believe.
which is what?
I believe an emulsifier is what allows a liquid and an oil to mix. Is that right? Yeah, so that's what they are.
So yay, nay.
I would say like sunflower, yeah, it's fine. I mean, it's normally gonna be one of the last ingredients. Again, if we're nitpicking here, like if soybean oil is first and then the healthy one has sunflower lecithin in it, pick that one, you know. Some of the other emulsifiers can kind of just mess with our guts and stuff more because, I mean, if you think about it, if I'm consuming large amounts of emulsifier, it's keeping something together that's actually supposed to be separate. I don't know the health detriment that has long term as it builds up, I don't know. But yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna make a little side comment. I actually know someone who takes NyQuil every night to go to sleep.
Yeah, so they're basically just taking Benadryl.
Every night.
Because that's all it is.
The
The
things that
nighttime is just Benadryl in the inside.
she can't sleep without it.
Yeah. Yeah, it is easy. It is detrimental for mental health long term.
What is like or should I ask ChatGPT, an healthier option to sleep? Like maybe
Yeah,
the
well,
magnesium,
first she's
like
probably
you
going to
were
go through
saying.
withdrawal, so it's going to feel worse to get to the healthy option, you know.
Oh my gosh, she goes to sleep with the TV on. She cannot sleep without the TV.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what to say, to be honest with you. There's a couple things there. Yeah. Magnesium, and we pray, right? Did anybody have a question over here? We good? I'm going to go back to over here real quick before we eat. So if you're not getting a lot of or a decent amount of sun exposure, you probably also may kind of have lower vitamin D levels. And some people just need more vitamin D than others, right? Also, like, our ethnicity, our genetics, and things like that also play a role in how our body deals with even healthy stuff. Not just unhealthy stuff, but also healthy things, right? And then I just like have some other ones that I take here and there. I don't really take vitamins every day. And I mean, unless you've been prescribed them, or you have some type of chronic deficiency, I would probably, I don't think you need to take large quantities of them every day. Kind of cycling through them is probably more beneficial. Some of them actually stay around in our body for a longer than we think. So again, this is not medical advice. Consult your physician and your doctor, healthcare provider, whatever. But I'm just saying, right? Chronically taking lots of stuff every day is not really all that necessary. Because if you think about it, people hundreds of years ago took none, right? So somehow our bodies don't need as much. But when we're deficient because of this, or these things are like sapping other or competing with other nutrients, that's when we need to take a bunch of this other stuff. Yeah.
Just for supplements, like vitamin D is my skin tone ethnicity. If I spend 15 minutes outside in short sleeves and shorts, I'm going to get about 400% of my daily vitamin D needs. If I'm outside walking in sunlight, like at noon, that's how much vitamin D my body's going to produce just from being in the sunlight.
Yeah.
So that's one way to get like high quality, like the best quality of vitamin D. Another thing, if you're looking for supplements, how to increase your other vitamins or minerals, ask ChatGPT for, hey, here, or look at what you're going to be deficient in, and then ask what are a couple of single food items that I can eat to get the natural form of those vitamins and those minerals in a form that is designed for us to process easily. And a lot of times, like, just eat salmon or seaweed. If you're low in iodine, just eat seaweed. Seaweed has the quality of iodine that our body can actually utilize.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you. Somebody asked if you have some type of HSA funds or something like that, you can use them for the Function app if you wanted to. So that's how I purchased mine. So, I was going to mention this briefly, and then we're going to eat. I don't have a section to it, and I don't know if I put it in the thing. I will. But so with the Function app, a couple things I was interested in were I wanted to look for any type of gene mutations that I might have. And most of us probably have some that we just live with. We don't even realize they're there, right? So for me, I did a one-time test for whether or not I have a MTHFR gene mutation, which basically is how my body handles methylating folic acid. So some people have a double mutation. I just have a single mutation. So it just means my body is 66% as efficient as somebody who doesn't have it, right? And if they have a double mutation, they're only 33% efficient, right? So if they're consuming a lot of this, has a crap ton of folic acid added, which is synthetic, then that's going to build up in their body. And most people don't even know it. Like, they don't even know whether they have a mutation or not. So that was one of the tests I wanted to see. One of the tests that I'm also looking at with Mr. Ken is, I feel like for my level of health, my cholesterol is higher and of a type that I'm not the biggest fan of. And I would have shown you all that if we could get the airplay to work, but I can't, so sorry. If you want to see it, I can show you afterwards what the function app looks like. So I'm doing an ApoE test to see how does my body handle cholesterol at a genetic level, just to kind of have an idea if my body's a hyper-responder, and if I consume large amounts of butter, it makes large amounts of cholesterol, you know what I'm saying, versus somebody who can consume the same amount of diet that I consume, and their blood work be fine, right? So that's kind of that level of understanding what's happening on the inside, that even though we could be doing the same exact thing, you're getting different results than I am, if that makes sense, right? Function Health is the website. And again, I would encourage you, if you are going to use it, have somebody who's a healthcare professional that can help you, unless you've been doing this so long you really feel like, okay, I have a doctor and this is kind of something that I can track along and along. The goal of it is not to replace some type of, whether it's a nutritionist or dietitian or something like that. Oh, APOE is, yeah, it was just some type of cardiovascular test that just basically tests how our body handles cholesterol. Yes.
You probably already answered this, but with that function app or website, do you have to take a test that would automatically, the results would go there and then it would tell you, or can you just pull
So all I did was I set it up, paid for it. I selected when I wanted to go to Quest Diagnostic right down my road on Connell Street next to LabCorp. I showed up. I give them 12 vials of blood. I go home. That was it. And then it just shows up in like a week or two. That was it.
So you can't pull
12 vials. It's less than what you would give at Red Cross, like half as much. So I felt like I was going to be blood dry when I got there. I was not, okay? It wasn't, they don't fill the vials up. They're like half full. They shake them with the stuff, It wasn't that bad. Funny story. I went to LabCorp, not Quest, and I did this. I said, you can do this one. I started tapping and I was pointing to the vein. She chose the smallest vein in my arm and stuck me. And I was like, ma'am, why didn't you choose the bigger vein? She said, oh, well, blood comes out of all of them. I was like, yeah, you're not the one who just got stuck with a needle. Anyways, I'm sorry. That was, still hurts.
So what I wanted to clarify is you can't pull in results there.
No, I don't believe you can import results. We can look at afterwards. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah, they don't. Quest is just taking the results, giving results, and putting them in an app. The app is for you, right? So, yeah, you can have health one. So, for sake of time, we're gonna do lunch. We'll come back after y'all start eating a little bit. We can finish up Q&A. I'm gonna have somebody share a little health testimony, and then we're gonna wrap up. Cool? I'm just trying to be mindful of time. So take a break real quick, grab something. We'll pull back the stuff, and then we'll start. We'll get ready to eat. Okay? And we'll have some Q&A as well. What? What's so funny? Amen. I'm going to pray for the food real quick, and then y'all can line up. Father, again, we just thank you for today. God, thank you for what you're doing in us and through us. And God, we just yield to your spirit to lead us, that all this stuff is just tools, God, but you're the great teacher. So, God, we just thank you for that. And, God, we bless this food and just bless everyone who's helped to prepare it, God. And we just thank you for who you are. And we call this food blessed in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. You can form a line on each side. And there's like, if you don't want the bar, you can go to the end and get like a strawberry pecan salad. You can put chicken on that. So however you want to do it. Or you can get some of that salad with the fajita bar.
I was looking for something. What was I looking for?
Who's leading that?
finally got my stuff all scheduled.
Oh, nice.
Oh, your turn, Doug.
I just turned myself on.
I'm not in the bathroom. It's okay.
Hey everybody, while y'all are eating, I asked Lori if she would be willing to just share a little bit of her health journey over the past year or so. And yeah, so if you would, just listen. Yeah, let's give a round of applause for Lori. Woo!
Thank you. I feel like I'm going to come up here and give y'all like kindergarten level stuff at this point when I'm next to Cornell, because we learned so much from Cornell. Thank you for doing this. And what I just wanted to share is that for me, the health journey has been more about just getting good health. It's not always just about losing weight. That is a byproduct, is that you get healthy in that way as well. But for me, it was more about, I felt like the Lord said at the end of last year, I want you to be more healthy. And for me, it wasn't just in what I ate. It was also in what I was consuming, and what I was watching, and what I was listening to. It was about my mind health, my mental health. And I think that with this, we can concentrate on one area, which all this is amazing. But then if we're not looking at our mental health and what we're putting in our mind and all that, then it can be just as detrimental. And so I think it is a balance overall. And I say that also to say, for some of us in this room, physical health with food is different for everyone, because some people might have struggled your whole life. You know, it might have been on your mind your whole life, where it's always been, oh, I gotta watch my weight, I tend to put on weight easier. And some people, it's not even a thought in their mind. That's not, and sometimes weight is not always just the indicator of whether you're in good health or not, obviously, because we can see that we can, you know, not eat some of the bad things and we might keep our weight down, but then we're not putting good things in too. So I'm just saying all that to say, let's not judge one another. Like even we were going through the line, somebody was saying, oh, are you gonna get that salad dressing? Are you gonna get that tortilla? Are you gonna get, you know? Is to say we're all on our own journey, right? And so what God is leading each of us to do is different, right? And so that is just an encouragement that as God, I think God is the one who convicts our hearts about things that He's addressing in us, right? Whether it's our physical health, our mental health, what we're watching, what we're doing, or the disciplines in our life. He's the one that convicts us. And it's up to us in our relationship with Him to respond to the convictions that are in our heart and to obey what He's calling each one of us to do, right? And so for me, that's what it was last year. He was convicting me because I was a mom just like anyone else. I've been pregnant 4 times. And over the course of your life and being pregnant and all the things and putting everyone else before yourself with your kids and living a busy life and working and all those things, sometimes your health just gets put on the back burner, right? And you're going for whatever's easy, whatever's fast, all these things probably, you know, not the good things. And so it takes an effort to stop and say, okay, I've got to invest. And the Lord just said, it's time for you to invest in yourself. And even as a woman, as a mom, that's a hard thing to say, okay, it's time to invest in myself. And so it's an encouragement to y'all, like, to invest in yourself and take that time. And I'm definitely not the expert up here to say you got to have it all together. You know, mine was one step at a time. And I believe when we obey the Lord and we do what He's calling us to do, there's a grace to do it, right? And that's what it was for me. I think other times in my life when I've tried to get healthy, I've just been doing it maybe for other reasons, just the way I look, or because I had a goal to get into for a certain event, or for whatever. But this time it was more about, I knew God was saying it was time. And so I just encourage y'all, whenever the Lord's encouraging you to do something, go for it. And when you do, there will be that grace. And so for me, thankfully, there has been a grace to do it. And so it's just a day-by-day process. I feel like, and I'm not trying to over-spiritualize it, but it is I think the Lord cares about our bodies. And so I felt like I'm obeying God every day as I think about what I'm putting in my body and what I'm eating and the exercising and all those things. It's just part of discipline. And it's not a discipline in that I'm the expert to judge other people, but it's a discipline for what God's calling me to do specifically. Mm-hmm. And so for me, I had to kind of go to God and say, okay, where do I start? What is it that you want me to do? And what is it that was going to help me? And He started giving me some steps, some of which I learned in Health by Design last year, which was very amazing. He gave me some of those things, and then other things I'm more of a simplified person. I'm better to just cut things out and then try to figure out a way to make everything taste like this but be healthy like this. I don't know if y'all I get a bunch of recipes and different things, and they're like, this is how you can make the best dessert but healthy, And basically what they're saying is, well, they want it to taste like this but be made of stuff like this. And I mean, that's good, but I think sometimes we just have to cut things out. And for me, that's what it was. And so my journey has just been about sticking to the fruits and vegetables and lean meats and cutting out all the fried foods. Anything. I don't really go into my pantry anymore. There's nothing in there for me to eat, really. There's just not. But then I'll have, every now and then, I'll have a few pretzels. I'm talking about, I go get, 4 or 5, and I hold them in my hand, and I put the thing, the bag back up or whatever. So, I mean, there is some moderation in it, but in general, I just stick to fruits, vegetables, and water only. That was the other thing I did, was I went full only water. And then I do use these, which are very much a lifesaver for some flavor. So some people may say, well, that's not good, that's not balanced, to just cut things out. But I think for me, I needed a little bit of a dramatic thing. If somebody's on drugs, they're addicted to something, you kind of have to remove yourself from those situations before you can go back to it in more of a healthy way. And so for me, removing myself from bread and fried foods and other items, I don't eat a ton of dairy either, but that's what I had to do to get me back on the right track. And then every now and then I will have a little bit of cheese, or I'll have a little bit of, Cornell made me some wonderful muffins the other day, and I ate a little bit of that. But I'm just here to encourage you to keep going and doing what God's called you to do, and really see it as a way to honor the Lord with your life, in what you eat and what you consume and put in your body, because it really does. I feel a lot better, not just because of weight, but because of exercising and taking care of myself. And I feel like I can do more of what God's called me to do, and I'm not as held back. And so I just say go for it and allow the grace of God to come on you to do what He's called you to do. And don't stress or shame yourself along the way, because that's from the enemy, right? Yeah. And so just see it as more a spiritual thing, as what you're doing and taking care of yourself, and not just a behavior modification, because we know behavior modification will just be modified temporarily. But when the Lord is doing a work in your heart, it's a supernatural long-term change. And so that's my encouragement.
Wow. Thank you so much for that. I feel like that wraps it up really good, doesn't it? Does anybody have any last lingering questions that are for everybody? Otherwise, I'll make myself available at the end and we could just chat for however long. Yes. The muffin, yes. Well, you stick around until I add them, okay? That way you know that all three of those will get added to the Google Doc, okay? I did really quick. I forgot to mention these because they were out of order because everyone was picking through the stuff. This is one of the things that I started to add to my diet, which is just it's algae oil. It sounds disgusting, but it's really high in omega-3, and it's not like super heavily processed so that it's still good for you. And this one in particular actually has values of DHA and EPA that are more helpful for you, which obviously if you're a chronic eater of salmon or you're a chronic eater of like wild sardines, right, then you're probably going to get a lot of that naturally. But I currently am not, even though salmon is my favorite food, I don't eat it all the time, favorite fish. So this was really helping me, and I saw it as a large deficiency in my own numbers. And if we're eating this and not eating a lot of fish, then you're most likely really deficient in omega-3, or at least your omega-6 is way higher. The ratio is way out of whack, okay? Yeah, they're pills. I kind of prefer this one because this has like a lemon flavor inside the pill. So I don't know if any of you have ever taken fish pills before, but when you burp, it tastes like fish. So I stopped. This one tastes better. This one doesn't really have much of a taste, but it's better for you. So if you want to look at these afterwards, you can. But again, omega-3s and 6s are essential. The problem is we eat way too many 6s than we do 3s, and the 3s and the 6s that we do eat are damaged. So anyways, that's just a side note. Any final questions before we wrap up? Sorry, I have a hiccup. Yes, sir.
For all of us, I want to say thank you very much.
Thank you.
This home for us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
We've learned so much, so thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you. Well, I enjoy it, and I pray that you guys do too. Again, if there's like a little something that you want to take, I put some little baggies up here. If you just want to take a couple pieces of bread, please share. And then there's some granola back there. If you wanted to take some of that, feel free to. So yeah. I'll pray us out, and y'all can finish conversating. And I'm trying to think. I think that should be it. Trash cans are over there. Those little tiny ones are probably mostly full. So forks. Yeah, forks can go in here. All right. Well, Father, again, thank you for just what you're doing. And God, we just look forward to the journey that you have for us. That, God, we choose to see that we're body, soul, and spirit, and we ask that you would help us to prosper in every area, body and soul, even as our soul prospers. So, God, we just thank you, and we bless you, and I bless everyone here just with the strength to do the things you're calling them to do, and you grace them in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen.